Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, 3 hours, along with Mike.
Hello, good morning. How are you? Welcome, Luca Puda.
And Nick is here.
Hi, welcome back.
And Bruce is here.
Welcome to the Name That Mike Show. If you can name the microphone that Mike is using today, you'll get a free subscription to the IAIB magazine. Just text us at...
Oh, boy.
I always look forward to seeing what Mike's using today.
It's a Mike.
It's a Mike.
It's a Mike.
It's big.
That's what she said.
Come on, Mike.
Why?
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is being brought to you by that VidBlast guy, Tom Sinclair, and by Adamus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. I'm just going to assume that everybody's seeing us everywhere. I mean, this is...
If you're not seeing us, let us know.
Yeah. I know they can hear us.
So did everybody go out and grab their Q2U microphones on sale at Target?
Target has microphones on sale?
The Samson Q2U on sale for $29.99.
Isn't that the same thing as almost the same thing as the 2100?
It is.
I should go pick one up.
I bought 6. Amnon, don't bother going to your local Target.
I won't.
Why?
And what's going on?
You bought them all?
I cleaned them out.
Did you buy anything else, or did you just buy 6 microphones?
I bought 6 microphones and a bag of popcorn.
And like heavy-duty paper towels, nothing else?
Just 6 microphones and a bag of popcorn.
Who checked you out? Was it like a younger kid?
It was 3 at one place, 1 at another, and 2 at a third one.
I was going to say, you just walk up there, I need 6 microphones and a bag of popcorn.
One of the stores, when I called over there, oh no, we don't carry anything like that. We've never had anything like that. I walk in, there are 2 on the shelf.
I didn't know Target carried microphones.
I didn't either, but since I've been posting about this for 3 days, maybe you ought to pay closer attention to social media, Nick.
Now, how did you hear about that, Mike?
It's interesting that you ask, because there is a guy named Lucas Apps who posted in one of the Google Plus communities in which I participate. Actually, to be specific, it's one called Podcasting Technology Resource Group on Google Plus. He posted about it, and see if I can find it. Boy, it's been several days now. I think that's the one it was. May have been a different one. I'm not sure, but anyway, he posted in one of the ones that I frequent, and I started saying, well, heck, that's maybe something going on in a certain part of the country. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And I called over, and they said, yeah, we have one. I said, so maybe it's not a regional thing. I did a little research and determined that Lucas App is here in Raleigh. He and I emailed off air, and he told me the store where he saw two of them on the shelf. It was over North Raleigh on Highway 70 and Lynn Road, Amnon. But at that price, I mean, the point being that it's great for what we use it for, but it's great as an XLR microphone. If I needed, I purchased, over the last few years, I purchased 4 AKG D880 dynamic microphones. I purchased them because a guy in a recording studio who I trust quite a bit, the guy's a genius. I mean, he takes mics apart and repairs them. He knows what he's doing. He said that as far as these handheld ball microphones go, this one is probably one of the best you'll ever get in that form factor, better than the SM58, better than various microphones. So I said, okay. I ended up buying 4 of them because I found them fairly cheap. And they sat on the shelf here for 2 years, as I can recall, never used them. I listed them on Craigslist, all 4 for $45 each. A guy said, yeah, I want them. How much would you take for all 4? So I sold him all 4 for $160. He came by, picked them up. As far as I know, he's happy with them. I lost a little bit of money on them, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. In essence, I took that money and bought these other microphones, meaning that I replaced those with these Q2Us, which in my opinion are better sounding microphones. They certainly are more useful with the USB port on them. Looks to me like I made a good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Hey, Nick, I noticed you got your Twitch shirt on. I saw something interesting in Tech News yesterday, where you can now Chromecast your Twitch to the Chromecast.
I know. I'm very excited about that because normally I have to Chromecast from my Chromebook, and the Chromebook is not a big fan of Chromecasting 1080p video or 1080p web pages. It tends to stutter a bit. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I found one other thing too. I know Mike's just stepped away from the mic, but maybe he can still hear this. Somebody tweeted a link, and I'll go ahead and put it in the chat, where I believe it was, let's see, I think it was Gallup did a poll of the happiest and healthiest cities in America. And to my surprise, Lynchburg, Virginia was in that list, but also Raleigh, Cary, North Carolina.
It's because of us. It's because of all of us.
Number 19 in that list.
And Albany?
And
Lynchburg.
Lynchburg was 37, so you guys are happier and healthier than we are, but we're in the list, the top.
What's so sad about it is if we get rid of some of this nonsense going on around here, we could move way on up the list.
Yeah. By the way, Provo, Utah.
You know what's the
1.
negative side to all these announcements?
Austin made the list?
I said, you know what's the negative?
What's that?
Everybody starts moving.
All these Yankees move down here wanting because of low taxes, and then vote for increased taxes because they're so low. We could have handled a little bit more.
Yeah. Wow. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, boys and ladies too. I dare say they're right there.
There could be.
Well, it's bound to be. There's always ladies around, aren't they? Lovely ladies.
Thank you, Stephen. It means a lot.
You're quite welcome.
I will tell you, though, Bruce, the job situation out there is desperate. It is desperate. Well, you see a lot of these fake job reports about how, there are all these new jobs out here. Some people are getting 2 and 3 of them. It's not like full employment is increasing. We're at the lowest stage of employment in this country in many years. And it's a problem. I mean, I've got quote unquote kids in my family desperately needing jobs, and they're not finding them. And I would argue that they're at least average or above in their skills and qualifications. Certainly above a whole lot of them.
It'll be fine. It'll be okay.
That's what you say.
Don't despair.
It's okay till you can't afford to pay for your mortgage.
Well, it's like we used to say in quality control. If you manufacture a product and 99 out of 100 of them are perfect, the person who receives the 1 in 1,000 thinks that your company is junk.
Yep.
So you can have a great job market out there, but for somebody who really wants one, which is not that many people, but for someone who really wants to work and can't find one, the job market is desperate.
Nobody's going to tell me that I still have Spencer's name there under Nick. Which nobody's paying attention. Nobody is paying attention.
It's not my job to pay attention to the video switching.
I mean, we're trusting you to handle that. If you can't handle it, let us know. We'll get Nick to do it.
It's a bit early for that.
Okay.
Oh, so Mike, as you were saying, I wasn't paying attention to social media. Did you happen to see what I put on social media?
No, I don't pay attention.
Okay, so my computer blew up Friday night.
I know that.
Okay, well then there you go.
And
Why did you
so
blow
you're
your computer up?
online now, so something has changed. What did you do?
Yes, actually, I'd like to say that I will continue to pay for Amazon Prime because of my experience with them on Friday.
Okay, tell us.
So Friday night around 6 o'clock, I'm watching a video game live stream, and I hear a pop, and all of my monitors shut off, and I knew exactly what happened. The computer had blown up, so I unhooked it, took it apart, and there was let me get the picture here. Let's see. All right, I've just posted the picture in the chat room. There's a huge burn mark on the motherboard, or where the capacitors are. So I take out the motherboard. I happen to have a spare one because this has already happened. This already happened before, so I had a spare motherboard, and I went to Amazon, paid $8 shipping for a similar CPU. Mind you, this is Friday night. I get Saturday delivery, and the thing goes from Indiana to Kentucky to Connecticut and is at my door at 9:30 a.m.
Wow.
So because of that, I will renew my Amazon Prime membership. No matter, I don't care if it's $150. The Amazon has won me with that. So that was my experience with Amazon Prime. And if I didn't have Amazon Prime, I couldn't imagine how much it would have cost to get it on Saturday.
But if you had a spare motherboard, why did you buy another one?
I didn't buy another one. I bought the CPU fried. I had to buy a new CPU.
So you were able to keep the same motherboard?
No, I had a spare motherboard. So
I see.
Took the spare motherboard, put it in. Put the old CPU in. It didn't boot, so I bought the new CPU.
Might have spoken too quickly.
Oh dear, I think this is about to go pop again.
Something is wrong, Nick. It's
Sidelining.
Yeah, that was weird. Been a while since I've heard that.
talk, Nick.
Is it still doing it?
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just
Are you
reconnect. It's probably just Skype.
are you USB or XLR on the mic?
Oh, the mic is fine. It's the mixer or Skype because I hear myself back. I'm gonna reconnect.
Well,
Give me a second.
go ahead and switch your mixer off in the back and turn it back on. And
Because your audio's fine. I mean, your video's fine.
yeah. And I don't understand what is happening with Dailymotion, but Dailymotion decided to take our stream and make it widescreen.
Well, Bamboozer embeds widescreen as well.
Really? I don't
Oh, yeah.
see that.
Yeah, it's 16 by 9. We don't fill up the whole space, but
How is it now?
Terrible.
Same.
I'm gonna reconnect.
Yep.
Well, at least Bamboozer is not all out of shape, kind of. I mean, that's the way it always is.
Okay, is it any better now?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, that was weird.
What did you do?
Hung up on Skype, waited a few seconds, and recalled.
This is kind of what was going on yesterday when we started the Hangout. It was kind of squeaking more.
Oh,
yeah, I got a Skype upgrade.
You need
this
to
morning
listen
when
to
I
it
booted
after
up.
the show, and you could hear what it sounds like, so you'll
Okay.
have an idea.
so yeah. So to finish off that story,
Yeah.
Amazon has won my I guess my support because of that.
Well, I don't think anybody, and even in discussing it, I don't think anybody has been particularly critical of the way Amazon operates. They are where they are because of what they've been able to accomplish, and no one would take it away from them. I don't know what, I mean, it would be interesting if you logged in without Prime. It would be interesting to see how much overnight Saturday shipping would cost on a motherboard without Prime.
Oh,
I don't know.
It's going to cost.
But I mean, I was the only reason I say that is because I was contemplating renewing my Prime membership because we talked about how often do you really buy stuff when you really need something? How much does it really cost? And I think that that's a perfect example of why I should just spend $100 so that when I need to get something in a little over 12 hours, it can be at my door.
So nobody in the household is using their movie streaming?
I'm the only one, and there's not really a lot of stuff on Amazon Instant Video.
That's what I've heard, at least not on the free side.
Well, there's one show I've watched, but that's an Amazon original series. So
I know Kathy's watching it all the time. She finds
Amazon?
things. Yeah.
Well, she's apparently found some shows on there that she likes.
Yeah.
it's weird. Sometimes when there's shows that are for example, a show that if it's on Netflix and let's say there's 3 seasons on Netflix, season 4 could possibly be on Amazon Instant Video. It's weird.
Nick, are you watching the website?
I am.
Click on Dailymotion. And I don't understand. I mean, I just looked and everything is set up the same. It just started today for some reason.
Yeah, it's squished.
It looks like it's widescreen.
It is.
Andrew, what did you tell him to do, Andrew? Andrew. Oh, well. This is from the other Wirecast machine, not from here. So, never mind.
I wouldn't worry about it now.
Yeah, I can tell you guys. Nick was a happy camper
With what?
with the way that things work out with that CPU. I mean,
Of
with
course,
the
I mean,
delivery and not the happy camper on Friday night.
Well, I mean, I'm in a. This is also another odd thing. I don't have another computer. Like my other computer is a Chromebook. I don't have a backup computer, which is an issue.
Right.
Saying I provide support and stuff online, so I need to buy another computer because I need to have something as a backup. I can't just.
Yep.
I mean, if this was to happen on Saturday night, I'd have to wait till Monday
Right.
because there's no Sunday delivery.
Yep.
Trade in your bitcoins and get a new PC, right?
Yeah. But all is well now, and I don't know. It's an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Could have been worse though.
I've had probably a half a dozen 2-day experiences with Amazon Prime that ended up being overnight, and it must be that I've got a fulfillment center, close by, and that was well stocked. But I've had that experience as well. It's been very pleasant.
Yeah, I've ordered. There's a fulfillment center in not far from Pittsburgh, and if I order something early enough in the day, I'll get it the next day because it's almost a straight drive. But yeah, Amazon Prime is awesome.
All right, let's. Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, initially, Amazon Prime movies, there were a lot of them that didn't offer closed captioning, and my wife, in particular, really, she doesn't have a hearing problem or anything, but she likes closed captioning. It helps her to get into the movie better. And there were a lot of Amazon Prime movies that didn't have closed captioning, and they got a lot of complaints about that. But they've been stepping that up, and they've done a lot better with it. But had they not done that, I probably would have considered switching. Netflix, almost all of their video offerings have closed captioning.
And I've started using it as well because there's so much of this hip jive talk that goes on some of these shows that I don't really speak that language. And when you see it written, you can sort of translate it into real English eventually.
What is hip? What did you say? Hip drive talk?
I'm not sure what I said.
Hip jive.
Oh, hip jive. Okay.
Like yo at the end of every sentence.
I don't know what the hell you're watching. I don't see that at the end of my sentences.
Yeah.
You never watched Breaking Bad?
That's the character.
That was a question. Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yes, he's a drug
Then that
dealer.
makes you a storyteller because they're saying yo at the end of every
it's
sentence.
a single person, and the guy's a drug dealer.
No, well, but does that change what I said? No.
Don't hate me, but I've not watched one episode of Breaking Bad. I've heard people talk about how good it is, but I've not seen one episode.
Well, it's pretty
right.
disturbing.
Yeah. And I'm a little sad, tonight is the last episode of this current season of Walking Dead. I do like Walking Dead.
Ugh.
Yeah, I haven't gone there yet. I've been advised by Nick not to go there.
Not a big fan of that show.
So,
What do you mean, Tony?
there's something here that I need to get. It says that Vanderbilt researchers say they've shown it's possible to selectively manipulate our ability to learn by applying a mild electrical current to the brain. Using an elastic headband that secured 2 electrodes conducted by saline-soaked sponges to the cheek and the crown of the head, the researchers applied 20 minutes of transcranial direct current stimulation to each subject. Depending on the direction of the current, subjects either learned more quickly, slower, or in the case of a sham current, with no change at all. The study appeared in the current issue of the Journal of Neuroscience. Maybe if I take a wire, plug it into the wall, and apply something, I'll wake up knowing how to use Wirecast? You think that is a possibility?
No, I was just thinking that for a lot of these people that I seem to interact with on the internet, on Facebook and so forth, considering where they keep their head, you could do cranial stimulation by kicking them in the rear.
I think it'd be great for Andrew to do this live on one of his shows. That would be a great.
Get Spencer to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need somebody. Yeah, and I mean, it can be done on the Bold Truth because you need people without hair. Right?
That's mean.
No, it's not. I'm not saying Spencer. I'm saying somebody there.
Hey, so I got an update on my Google Help Out experience. I mentioned last week that I was through with them, and maybe the only exception would be if I got a response to my email that I thought this was too convoluted and over the top. So I got an email reply, and they offered to have me join a support help out with one of their support people, And so I thought, well, I'll go ahead and give it a shot. And so I went to the link that they provided, and I scheduled a time. And so I believe it was Friday, can't remember the exact time. I joined the Hangout, and I was waiting for a person whose name was Jess to jump in. Jess turned out to be Jessica.
Uh-oh.
She was a really sweet girl, but she was probably, maybe 18, 19 years old.
Probably 28, but you just didn't notice.
Well, I had no idea what her, background was or anything, but I was really nice and sweet to her. I've got 2 daughters and 3 granddaughters, and and so I explained to her my situation. I said, "Can I share my screen with you?" She said, "Sure." And I had picked up at random 4 different help out pages that were absolutely anemic, didn't have any videos on there that they requested, and then I went back to them and I said, "I don't understand what the difference is." I said, I'm marketing to a niche audience. The people that I'm going to market to are going to be in my circles, people that I know or that are kind of running the same genre I do. It was going to be called Collaborative Tools for Online Ministry. I mentioned a little bit about who I was and the issues or the areas that I had expertise in. And if they went to my page, they would immediately know whether or not there was something there to offer. And she had some other suggestions about moving this to here. And anyway, she was really nice. I appreciate the fact that they came back to me on it. But after doing that, I'm still not of a mind to continue on. But they did come back to me, schedule an actual help out with me. Immediately got an email with a $250 coupon if I wanted to use it for other help outs and stuff like that. So, but I told her, I said, this is not going anywhere unless you guys make it simpler and easier to do. And her comment on the sites that I showed her that didn't have video, she said, "Yeah, well, we didn't require video back when we first got started, but February the 11th, we made some changes, and now we require video."
Correct.
But they should push everybody towards that if they're trying to make this a unified platform.
They have, but they grandfathered the early people who've already been through this nonsense.
Yeah. And that's what I told her. I said, well, if this is the standard, then let's go ahead and make it for everybody, But, oh, look, he's got his hoodie. Oh, wow. So your grandfather grandfathered?
Something like that. And what's interesting is, unfortunately, when I ordered it, I ordered a large instead of an extra large, so it fits, but it's tight. Mm-hmm. My wife says when we wash it, it will not fit. So I went on to the Insider Google Hangout trying to find out if someone bought an extra large, needed a large, I'd swap with them. Mm-hmm. And Maria came on and said, "What's your mailing address? We'll send you a extra large." So.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's some discussion in the chat, I think, a worthy news story to comment on about Office 365 or Office now being available for iPad. And it's really, they've really done a better job than most people expected of it and everything. But so there's a question about, is Microsoft Office free now on iPhone and Android? And then, they've got for Office 365, they've got a premier version and they've got what they call a personal version, but it's kind of interesting. You think Microsoft is, obviously they're behind on doing this. They should have done this a long time ago because they allowed Google to sneak up on them with Google Docs, Apps, Sheets, and slides and stuff like that. What do you think about Office for iPad? Well, that's not a subject.
I don't know why they wasted their time making it. It's been so long and people haven't been able to use it. Why now? I mean, how long has the iPad been out?
That's a good question.
When did the iPad launch? 2009, 2008? Somewhere around there. And now Microsoft's like, oh, maybe we should make I think people have already moved on.
Why are they always behind the 8 ball?
Who?
Why aren't they leading? I mean, in every area they lag. Phones, PDAs, back in the early days.
I would say that's one of 2 reasons. I would guess maybe it's a combination of both. One is, and this is something that Bill Gates sort of said, he said, we don't have to be first, we have to be best.
Yeah, and they are arguably the best word processor.
All right, and second is they make the comment, the other possibility is that they are just so bogged down with corporateness that they just can't move fast enough.
But
Well,
is it really that big of a deal? I mean, Google Docs is basically Office, right?
Well-
No, it's Office compatible. It's not anywhere near the code base.
No, of course, but you're not going to be doing this stuff on I don't think you'd be doing this the really extreme stuff on the iPad using Office that you would do on the PC.
You know what? Actually, it's an interesting question. Why is Microsoft always behind? I would argue, based on what we've observed throughout history, is that Microsoft really doesn't have a lot of vision. I mean, there's this famous quote of Bill Gates: "I can't see why anybody would ever need more than 640K of memory on a computer for RAM." I mean, they let Netscape come in and take over the browser market before they even developed Internet Explorer.
Right.
So I just don't. Maybe they just don't have the vision. That's where Apple slam dunked them in so many ways. I mean, Microsoft was big enough. Microsoft could have chosen to do anything that Apple has done if they had the visionary in the company, like what's his name?
Wozniak? No,
Steve Jobs.
Jobs. I mean, if he had been at Microsoft, they could have done that, and they could have done. They had the resources to do it. They buy from the same companies that make Apple computers, and God knows no one's going to accuse Apple of being a software developer. I mean, gosh almighty, 110 megabytes for iTunes on a PC. They clearly have no clue how to write software for a PC. So what I'm saying is Microsoft could have slam dunked them, but they just don't seem to have the visionary.
But does it really matter?
Does what matter?
That
they're so far
Microsoft-
behind?
Yes.
It
Who
does
cares?
not matter until they start losing market share.
But they won't unless Apple changes their ways.
I don't know. I mean, we dog on Apple, and justifiably so here, but let me tell you. I've got a computer here, and I'll get in. We'll talk about this in a little bit about XP, but I've still got an XP machine here that it's time to go. Not because of XP, but because the machine it's on is just getting too slow. I use Thunderbird on the machine. Thunderbird is so full of files now that I don't want to delete that it's dog slow sometimes navigating Thunderbird. It needs to be on a faster machine. That's what I'm going to do. I also have another software program that runs best on XP. I'm going to have a machine that has nothing but that not nothing but it's going to have that application plus any other of the very few applications I need that should run on XP and not on a later operating system. So in the process of replacing it, I've for a moment, be very honest with you, I did consider getting a Mac Mini. But by the time you look at getting a Mac Mini that's an i7 quad core with 8 gig of memory and what else can you add to it? Anyway,
Well,
we're talking.
even the keyboard and mouse, the Apple keyboard and mouse themselves are like $150.
I mean, I was at $1,200 without a monitor,
That's ridiculous
and
for a computer.
And if I got it and use it, because I don't like Apple computers, but my exposure has been a MacBook Air, and I still don't like it. My son has it. He loves it. My son-in-law has one. He loves it. No problem there. But I didn't care for it. Who was it? Somebody told me that, I don't know who it was, talked to too many people in a week's time. This past week, somebody who is not privy to some of our little giggings of Apple said, I was working on an Apple this past week. He said, so-and-so had one. I needed to use. Everything's in the wrong place. You look on the right for things, and it's over there on the left. You click on it, and it's just not logical. That's whatever you get used to. The question then is if you're going to go Apple, maybe you should go all Apple. If you want to go PC, go all PC. Mixing them up, yeah, you can learn where things are. People do it all the time. But for us old people, that gets old.
Well, don't tell that to the Russians.
Why? Do they like Apple?
Russian government officials have swapped their iPads for Samsung tablets to ensure tighter security. The
Choke,
telecoms
laugh,
minis-
giggle. Go ahead.
the telecom minister told news agencies on Wednesday. Journalists spotted that ministers at a cabinet meeting were no longer using Apple tablets, and Minister Nikolai Nikiforov confirmed the changeover took place not so long ago. He said the minister's new Samsung were especially protected devices that can be used to work with confidential information. This isn't the first time Russian powers have had concerns over mobile. In August 2012, Russia unveiled a prototype tablet with its own almost Android mobile OS that has the remarkably familiar feel of an Android but with bolstered encryption. So they're not using iPads anymore. So,
Well, I don't use iPads. I don't have anything against them. I've thought several times about buying one because some of the magazines that I read are available electronically on iPad and not available on other tablets such as Kindle. But one thing I would never take away from them is the security issue. I don't believe they have security issues. Certainly not anywhere near the Windows operating system has.
well,
That's just my opinion, though, Bruce. You'd know better than I, maybe.
Well, you know, there's it's interesting. I put a link in the chat to an article on PC Magazine that says that iOS apps crash more frequently than Android apps. It's kind of interesting, and I don't know how they did that test
Right.
as far as its accuracy and which apps they did. But you know, there have been a lot of interesting things like this link I'm putting in here right now. I found real interesting having to do. Actually, I'll put the link in. A particular news organization gave all of their reporters Chromebooks, and they're totally moving away from the old school issue of them having to, get to an office or someplace where they could upload their stories, and they're getting Chromebooks with, 4G LTE built in, and it's going to totally change for these guys the way they report news. And having that full size keyboard on the Chromebook is a lot easier than having a digital or a virtual keyboard on any kind of a tablet, whether it's iOS or Android. But there's the link for that. It's kind of interesting. By the way, Nick, I saw an interesting video that I don't know if you know this or not, but I gave my granddaughter my Samsung Chromebook, and I got the Acer C720 with
2
the
or 4
Haswell.
gigs.
Oh, listen. Well, it's only 2 because I couldn't find a 4. They're hard to find, those 4s.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But man, the performance difference between that Samsung ARM processor and this Haswell Intel processor was far more than I expected. It's
it's
really,
unbelievable.
really good. But I saw a video, and it's really simple to do. You just take the screws off the back. You can upgrade this 16 gig SSD
Oh, wow.
to a 128 gig SSD. And once you get the back off, it's just undo a screw, pull out the 16 gig one, and plug in the 128. So if you wanted to, do some really, freaky stuff with a full-blown Linux, and then there's some other interesting videos of people actually doing some creative ROMs and running Windows on the thing. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, actually, I've been looking at running Windows on it, and Acer is in talks with Google for releasing drivers for Windows for the Chromebook, for the Acer C720, which would be killer.
They got a big announcement coming out. I think it was this week or next week. They've got everybody else has been releasing their new version of the Chromebook. The Samsung announcement, and so I'm interested to hear what they come out with.
There's the video of Windows running on the Acer C720.
Yeah.
I wanna like the Chromebook, and I do like it, but the Chrome OS is just too limited. There's not enough third-party development for it yet. Still no Skype application.
I did find a nice. It's called Plexoria, a video editing app that works quite well on the Chromebook. Now it's more limited, like Windows Movie Maker and stuff like that. But for somebody that's just wanting to create a movie and some transitions and titles and crawlers on the bottom, stuff like that. It works quite well. But I put this link in earlier, and this is kind of interesting. Going back to the Office discussion in the chat, Microsoft, they're doing this Office 365. They got Personal now, and then they've got the Pro version, and now they've got Office on the iPad, which you don't get all the features unless you pay $5 a month. And then you can use it, or something like that, and then you can use it on 5 different machines. But if you go to OneDrive.live.com, and most everybody has a live account, especially if you bought a new Windows PC with Windows 8 on it. I mean, you probably had to set that up as part of starting it up and everything. And you can do Word, PowerPoint, and Excel free for no cost at all by logging into your Windows Live account on OneDrive. And then if you respond to their offer to sync your photos from your mobile device, they'll give you an extra 3 gigs of space. Then you can turn that off, and you still have the extra space. So,
I'm not a big fan of whatever it's called now. SkyDrive, OneDrive. Is it called SkyDrive now? No, it's not SkyDrive anymore.
No, it's called OneDrive.
OneDrive.
Yeah, and the only thing that I think is interesting is it is a way for anybody with any device to do a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet and save it to the cloud, or you have an option to download it as well. But I think Google, and Amazon's already responded, I believe, to Google's announcement about the lowering of the prices for their storage. But Google Drive is a terabyte for $9.99 a month is
that's pretty unbeatable.
Yep.
Okay, let's see what else we have here. Microsoft launched the Surface Pro 2 tablet in October 2013 with several hardware upgrades like the new 1.6 gigahertz Core i5 4200U, specifically optimized for longer battery life and increased performance. 3 months later, Microsoft decided to upgrade the CPU with the 1.9 gigahertz Core i5 4300 unit that would be capable of taking these improvements even higher, although Redmond kept quiet about the improvement. Tech-savvy buyers were aware of the change. Now, according to some new reports, it seems that the company is still shipping the old models to buyers, despite the fact that Microsoft promised to deliver only upgraded models featuring the new CPU. So if you're buying a Surface and you're getting it with a 1.6 gigahertz CPU, you're getting gypped. I guess they're trying to get them out of the way.
Yeah, if Tony can, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done. Tony, what?
Yeah, Tony is saying you just can't create docs without a subscription to 365.
Really?
Let's see. No, using Word for iPad. Okay. Okay. Maybe we're just kind of confusing, but I don't know. I don't have an iPad, so I've never logged into my OneDrive account on iPad. But if you log into your account, let me see if I can show you really quick what I'm seeing here. And of course,
you're seeing wilderness.
Well, I know you're seeing wilderness, but now that's going to change here. So this is my OneDrive account that I've logged into. All you have to do is click Create, and then I have an opportunity to create a Word document, Excel, PowerPoint presentation, whatever. So if I want to click a Word document, I just click on that. And what it does, without any Office 365 account, it brings up Microsoft Word Online, and there it is. I have an opportunity to create a document. I can save that. I can also download it to my computer and move it to Google Drive or any place else like that. So, just it works well. But it's interesting to me. You know, Microsoft's got all these products for sale, and yet you can go to OneDrive and you can do it for free. I just don't understand why they haven't either, you know, fixed that, or, you know, I try to let as many people know as possible. If you got a Chromebook, you can do Word and Excel and PowerPoint without an Office 365 account. Yeah.
Mike,
What?
is the launching of that website or the blog warrants an announcement here of yours?
I don't care.
Why don't you talk about it, Mike?
I just created a blog for some of my audio help articles. I post most of them on the IAIB, but I also want and have my own blog. It's, what's the name of it? Getbetteraudio.com. There's only one article there now. It's a WordPress website. It's certainly by no means customized yet. It's sort of the stock thing, so don't go there looking for anything impressive, but I've started posting articles there. And I do them in spurts because I get motivated and I write things, and then I'll go through dry spells. And I was sort of motivated, did 2 or 3 at one time, and now I'm back to a dry spell. But if you bookmark that, you may, if you're interested in audio. Now, if you really just want to be critical of things that other people write, you can go there too and tell me how you're not having the problem and you're not really concerned about it. But that really doesn't add anything to the discussion and shows you to be
Right.
not very smart. But you can do that if you like. I won't delete the comment.
It's your content that's impressive, Mike, and I had a good time sharing your post about that with some other people that I follow in Circle.
Well, I appreciate that. It's been interesting. I've had very good response to both articles. One article is kind of tongue-in-cheek about how to select the best microphone, which there's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of me spouting off at the mouth about it. But I think it sort of echoes what some people think about the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember the other one was how to interface your computer with your Skype computer with your mixer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always intriguing to post these things on particularly Facebook where all the kiddies are. And you post something there that, I mean, I'm not bragging on myself, but I've been doing this a long time. I understand the process. The information I put in there is helpful to people who don't have a real long audio background. And then some moron has to come along and say, well, all you have to do is just connect it up with the USB cable. Well, really? How are you sending an auxiliary send to Skype over USB?
You don't need
Well,
those.
what I do is da-da-da-da-da. No, I understand that, but you said that your solution was better than mine. Now I'm trying to understand that. Which mixer are you using? I'm using the Behringer 1204. Okay, so, well, I'm familiar with that mixer. Would you explain to me how you send an auxiliary send to your computer over USB? Well, I guess I really didn't understand that that's what you were doing. I guess you don't really need mix minus. Oh, so you're depending on Skype echo cancellation by sending your program audio feed to Skype. And so you're saying that for people who want to use a mix minus and do things correctly, you're saying that my situation is not necessary, that they should just use yours when you don't know what you're talking about. That just gets old. I mean,
Yeah, well,
that's what sends me through dry spells, because I wonder why I even waste my time.
no.
I just out of
no.
curiosity this morning.
Yeah, Mike, but for each one of those that spout out, what's the word?
That's good. That's good.
There are 100 others that are saying, not loud and maybe not enough, thank you, Mike.
But
And that's what you should dwell on, not on that one that's talking like this, because that one is obviously
an idiot.
yeah, and that's not what you concentrate on. That's not what you let dictate what you're going to do or what you're not going to do. It's the people that
I'm
really
not,
want
as you know, I don't do it for the money. So at least people who are unimpacted by it should shut the heck up. I just, as a curiosity, as soon as I did it this morning, I posted a link to the No More Skype Ducking article that I wrote for the IAIB about a month or two ago. probably the most read article that I've written in the last couple of years. It's a very unique situation. It does not apply to everyone. We don't even use it here on Computers 2K Now. We should, but we don't.
Right.
And so it's not a required thing. But if you're interested in being able to take Skype and internet broadcasting to a higher professional level, this solution will allow you to do that. We do it on Rick's house every Saturday morning on that show.
Right.
But for us using this setup that I wrote about on the IAIB article, Rick's show would not run as smoothly as it does because the real issue with him is whenever I start playing music or a theme song or whatever, he can listen and hear the music without it ducking out every time he says a word. So it's just like him listening over the stream and his microphone audio not interfering with the audio he's getting back. It makes all the difference in the world. So I posted a link to that article again on Facebook in the, what is this, Megan Enlow's group. I don't remember the name of it. Well, it's called Podcast Community. And I'm just waiting to see how long it is before some moron comes along and says, oh, you don't need to do that. I don't have the problem. Well, then shut up and we're not talking about using synthetic oil in your car. We're talking about a problem that some people have. You don't have it. You should go back to playing with your little Mac.
Okay, my wife's saying is very appropriate here, especially on the ducking article. These responses will remind me to say, ducks quack. So some people are going to quack, and they quack us up.
I just hope that you don't take what some blitheringly stupid numpty online says and take it to heart, because the vast majority of people that I know that know you value your opinion greatly.
Wait a minute. What was that word? We got another Steve word. Numpty a nine? What is it you said?
Blitheringly stupid. Blitheringly. Yeah, all right. So it's just a very long one. Just somebody who's a numpty. I mean, there's always somebody that detracts because they didn't think of it, or because they sort of think, well, yeah, but I managed to do it and I don't get any complaints, but they're not doing it to the same level of quality that you're doing it. So numpty, yeah, N-U-M-P-T-Y. It's just somebody that's an idiot, somebody that's stupid, a bit thick.
It is
Thick's another one. It's just let them get on with it. Just take into account all the people that you know that have said to you, wow, thanks for doing this, it's brilliant.
You know, Mike, you know what the problem is?
At least 100 for each one, and then that's the number of people that are happy about it.
There was, I mean, for the audience, this was a perfect situation of ducking.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you saying, Nick?
So the problem is that all of these podcast experts pay for these online courses that teach them how to podcast, and when your free content isn't taught in their paid course, they think you're wrong. Because they paid God knows how much to plug in a microphone to a computer and install WordPress.
Yeah.
And that's I honestly think that's the real problem, is that people are just, whoa, what do you mean? This is free, and I paid $500 to open up Audacity. That you clearly don't know what you're talking about.
Try $1,750.
Whatever the amount is. So I think it's just it's like almost they're feeling like they're getting screwed out of their money because they did, and now the stuff is just online for free.
But what's interesting is you're correct. There are people who have that, and it's called what's called goring their ox. But there are also the people who come in and comment who have never even done a podcast.
Oh, even better.
It is just amazing that people cannot just look at something and say,
Thank you.
thank you. And not only this, but learn from it and keep it in them, even if they don't believe in it, even if they think they know everything. Don't file it in the back of their head, or save a copy for when the time comes, and realize this guy is not just saying it in order to prove me wrong. He's saying something that hundreds and thousands of people are doing and following, there must be something there.
Well, while we're down in the dirt, allow me to say that, and you guys who know me really well will know that I'm not just mouthing off about it, that I've thought about this a lot. And
you were ahead before you said that.
Okay, well, I'll skip it.
Go ahead.
I really think I am not a podcaster, nor will I ever be one if I have to be part of that community.
Well,
the podcasting community is a bunch of idiots.
Well, not all of them. Some of them are good people.
right.
I mean, Bruce
98% of
Bruce is by definition a podcaster, and I'm not going to put him in that category. I mean, you in essence are too with your show whenever you do it, and then you release it for download. That makes you a podcaster. But I guess I would put podcaster and maybe in quotes or underline it or something, because these guys, I don't know. I don't know why I care, and it's like that turkey who, never mind. They've got this, where is it? I'll find it now. Well, I'm not going to say who they are. If you're into this community stuff, then you'll be able to figure out what I'm talking about. That's not it. And I'll find it in a minute. I'm stalling. But once I find it, they're having these events, these...
oh, yes.
I know it's here. Here it is. They're having these events and having keynote speakers. These are the people who are going to speak. You're going to pay to see these people speak because they are industry leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Srinivas Rao. Srinivas Rao from Unmistakable Creative. This one gets me. Jamie Tardy from The Eventual Millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Evo Terra, Podio Books and Podcasting for Dummies. Speaking of that, Cliff Ravenscraft, Podcast Answer Man. And then in addition to this, the list includes Jeff Brown, who seems to be a good guy, Todd Cochran, Darrell Darnell, never heard of, John Lee Dumas, speaks for himself, Elsie Escobar, Dan Frank. Huh?
Speaks for himself. That was a good one.
Dan Franks, Dave Hamilton, Greg Hickman, Eric Johnson, Jessica Kupferman, Daniel J. Lewis, I know, Lou Mongello, I know of, Tim Page, Chase Reeves, Natalie Sisson, Rob Walsh, we all know of, Rob Cisternino, Justin Crosley, Dave Delaney, Jared Easley, Eric Fisher, I know of, Rob Greenlee, we know of, Dave Jackson, good guy, Ben Kruger, Gary Leland, I know of, one of the sponsors, Mark Mason, Ray Ortega, good guy, Jeffrey Powers, we know Jeffrey, Cynthia Sanchez, seems to be a good lady, Emily Chase Smith, and Lynette. I haven't heard of 2/3 of these people.
Why didn't I get an invite? What makes
they don't like you?
What makes these people qualified?
This is, I think, first of all, this is Todd Cochran's thing, right?
No,
No.
it's not.
No,
Some
it's...
other-
I don't want to call the name of it because
call
I'm
the
not
name
trying
of
to badmouth them. I think they have a great idea here. I think the idea of having these conventions and putting together these educational events like they have done, and even the crowdfunding of it, I think is an excellent idea.
What if people are interested in getting more information? You're not bashing the event. You're just...
I just don't understand their selection of quote-unquote experts.
Well, that's the problem.
I mean, I understand the sponsors of the shows putting themselves in as experts. That's kind of your you got a license. If you're going to do the work and go at risk with the funds and all that, then that's like a literary license, as we call it. I don't have a problem with that. But I mean, these people, some of these people in here that I happen to know are pure scammers. And yet when I make that, why are you being so critical, Mike? You ought not to be so concerned about these things. Live and let live. And I said, because I hate to see people getting themselves clipped, but you know what? You can't help people avoid it. Some just have to get their wings clipped before they'll believe you.
I'm kind of upset I didn't get an invite to be a speaker.
Yeah. Well, you want me to nominate you?
Oh, yes, please. As you know, I'm an expert.
Okay.
You know, I would rather all these people go to these conventions and learn that you do not need a mix minus, which will just help us get higher and higher.
Yeah.
I do be an expert too.
Steve, you probably have more audio expertise than half the people speaking at that convention.
3/4.
Yeah. Remember, my dad said an expert is a drip under pressure.
Yeah. You know, but please understand what I'm saying, guys. I mean, we've got our small, dedicated, loyal audience here, and they know that I'm having acerbic wit periodically. And I'm not being critical of the event. I'm just saying I don't understand quite a lot of what they're doing. And being at least a reasonably intelligent person, I ought to be able to understand the philosophy and the thought process behind what goes into putting this show on. And the people here of the 4 keynote speakers, I've only heard of one of him, and I wouldn't sit through any speeches he gives because it's all about how wonderful he is and how much money you need to send him.
Yeah.
See, this is where I kind of have the problem with these people paying for making money in podcast is there is no money to be made in podcasting for most people.
Oh, there are 4 or 5 people making money.
Yeah, but for most people, that's where I think the disconnect is.
It
Is
appears
there really-
to me the only way of
there-
actually making any money in podcasting is presumably teaching people, cough, cough, how
How
to
to
podcast.
podcast. Yeah, there really
That's the only
is no
time you're
money
making
to be
anything.
made. I don't think there's any money to be made, and I'm not saying that like I have absolutely no clue what I'm talking about.
I'm just reading these bios on these people, and
You're wasting time, Mike.
no, I think it's interesting. Daryl Darnell. Daryl began podcasting about the TV show Fringe in 2008. So here, okay.
I mean, it's fine if it'll get them somewhere. More power to them.
Rob Greenlee has a lot to offer.
Oh yeah.
Don't agree with a lot of what he says, but he is certainly one of the main players in the podcasting community. I would say the same for Todd Cochran. Todd and I sure don't agree on a whole lot of stuff. We agree on some things, but Todd's been there, and he's got something to offer. If you want to hear it for the 10th time, I don't know. The other people, I'm just sitting here scrolling, trying to find out what it is I'm missing. Dave Jackson. Dave's a good guy. I like him a lot. I listen to his Saturday morning podcast at 10:30 Eastern every Saturday morning. It's on Spreaker. There's this guy here. What's his name? Eric K. Johnson. Eric is a nationally recognized talent coach, on-air personality, and radio program director. The stations he worked at consistently performed at the top of the market. Eric coached other shows on the stations to great success and #1 rankings. Eric teaches how to develop a trusting relationship with your audience. He shows how you leverage that trust to create revenue. Eric is dedicated to the art and show business of podcasting. He runs Podcast Talent Coach, which is the premier coaching service focused on the personal side of podcasting. Well, when I first learned of Eric K. Johnson, I went to his website and listened to it, and I think the guy's got a lot to offer. I mean, I think he's definitely something worth listening to learn some of it. Is he an industry leader because of his history in radio? I don't know. I don't know if that's qualified. I see a lot of pushback in the podcasting community against the invasion of the quote-unquote space by former radio people because there are a lot of radio people, when they lose their jobs or lose interest or realize they need to get a real job to make a living, then they'll start doing hobby work in podcasting. So I don't know what his situation is. Eric seems to be a good guy. Maybe he's got a lot to offer, but is he an industry leader at this point? I'd never heard of him until about 2 weeks ago. I mean, that may be my fault, but I try to pay attention to what's going on.
Well, worry not.
Don't worry. I wish them well. I like the idea. You just hope that there would be a shakeout.
Of course there will be.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, when you look, you cannot. I don't think you can deny the fact that a lot of radio people that's been in radio for years have good talent, and they can. And I mean, anybody can do a podcast. Not anybody can be somebody on the radio. I mean, they look for your voice. They look for because you're going to work for somebody. They will vet you and look through everything before they put you on the air, because you are representing the station, right, Mike? And you've been in that business. It's not, you can't just walk in there and say, I want to be on the air. Okay, here. So a lot of these guys.
Well, you could at Curtis's station, but go ahead.
What?
Nothing, go ahead.
And a lot of these guys will make it very nice in the podcast business. When more and more of them are going to come in, there will be a shakeout. And you're going to see a lot of people are going there, and everybody else is going to go down to the point where they say, well, what am I doing? But there'll always be people who are going to do it because they have a passion. And there is nothing wrong. I mean, there are good stations out there on TV, on radio, and there are bad stations. And they're still up, they're still on the air. You see who gets more audience than others. And that doesn't really mean that you're better or and that's why, I mean, you know, you going on TV and you put never mind, let's not get into it.
Hey, Mike, does this event you're talking about have the words podcast movement in it?
Well, it does, yes.
Okay, all right. I was just
say the name of the event. People might be interested in more stuff.
Yeah.
You're not dogging the event.
It's podcastmovement.com, and if you're able to make it down there, and you're interested in it, I encourage you to go. I suspect that price-wise, it's probably one of the best deals for these events that you can find. I'm not criticizing the event. I'm saying I don't understand it. I'm reading the bio now of a lady here, and this is something that's not exactly related to podcasting. It's a little broader in my criticism. It says Emily Chase Smith. Emily is an author, speaker, and coach. She's a California attorney with a long history of helping business owners and entrepreneurs make financially savvy decisions as they start, grow, and transition in their businesses, because money only counts if you keep it. Emily is the author of The Financially Savvy Entrepreneur, the host of the Entrepreneur's Money podcast, and can be found at emilychasesmith.com. I have no idea who Emily is. I have never heard her podcast. It may be fabulous. No comment at all about that. But it shows that. Do a search of podcasts and find out how many of them have the word entrepreneur or millionaire in them. It's disturbing to me.
It shouldn't be.
Now, I saw one graphic that says that this was funded with Kickstarter. So
correct.
The entry fee is not covering all of their costs, I would imagine.
Well, my thought about that was, which whenever this first hit, some people in our little group said, why are they doing, if it's an event, why don't they just pay for it? Why they got to go ask for other people to make donations? I actually think that, and Dan Franks from Dallas, Texas is the guy who apparently started this up. I absolutely agree with his decision to kickstart it. And before he even hit his goal, I thought it was a good idea. The reason why is because the podcast community is not only extremely small, I mean, it's irrelevant in the scheme of things, but it's also very fickle. There's very little money in there. Anyone going to one of these things is probably funding it out of their own money, not out of their podcasting revenues. So what this Kickstart allowed them to do is to cover the venue, to put a guarantee on the venue, to guarantee that they'd be able to get some publicity out, to really cover the basic out-of-pocket funds to put the event on. Even then, it's going to cost a heck of a lot more than $31,854 to conduct the event. Now, one question I would ask is that they had a goal of $11,000, which is apparently the amount of money they felt they needed to be able to guarantee the event, to be able to reserve the venue where they're going to hold it. Well, where does the rest of the money go? Maybe it's here somewhere.
And I think I was the original one that brought that up about the crowdsourcing, and that was my concern, was that they raised $20,000 more than they needed. Where's that going?
I don't know, but they're entitled to do whatever they will with it. But
for sure.
I just hope that that they use it to make it an even more successful event. I mean, it would be interesting, and I think we talked about this at the time, Nick. But the crowdsourcing idea is and look, somebody's probably sent this link to Dan. He's probably hearing me say this. I don't care, Dan. Call me. I'll say exactly the same thing to you because I'm complimenting you on what you've done. I think you put together a brilliant project, and I hope it becomes a regular event. And I even like the idea of the thought anyway of the crowdsourcing of the original nut for this thing, because if you can get enough crowdsourced, you can probably keep participation rates even lower and get even more people to participate. And you say, well, why that? Why crowdsource it just to be able to cut the price so that people can participate? Because there are people who are succeeding in the podcasting community who might be able to contribute. For example, maybe a mixer company or a microphone company contributes to the Kickstart to keep the price low, which brings more people into the event and they get to sell more equipment. You know, maybe that's a worthwhile thing. I think the Kickstarting idea was very smart.
Yeah. I'd really like to see what the, I mean, I don't know where you saw the list of speakers, but topics, usually when you have events like this, there's certain subjects that you want to go to. So I'm wondering, who are they really, who is this for? Is the main attraction for podcasters who want to make money? Is the main attraction, learning technical skills? Of course, you can get that in a lot of different places. But I'd be really curious to see, what the breakout sessions are, because that's really what's going to really determine its value. Now, I think if there's a business that's wanting to get into podcasting to increase brand awareness and stuff like this, they would certainly want to send whoever in their company they're going to have, over this, go to something like this, that where they can get everything it's like a one-stop shop. It's like going to a mall and getting a lot of information that would be helpful for you to get all at one time.
I would agree. It says, what can you expect? Attendees will have the opportunity to sit in on their choice of sessions as part of our beginner podcaster track that are aimed at helping new podcasters turn their creative ideas into podcasting realities. Sessions will cover a wide range of topics for those just starting out, ranging from technical setup demonstrations to panels of podcasting coaches teaching you what makes their rookie students stand out and everything in between. This will be the destination to help you get started. We are also excited to be offering a second track, our advanced podcaster track, where veterans of the craft can go improve on their foundation they've already built. We've secured some of the world's best podcasters to host sessions that will help those with experience take their shows to the next level. Whether it's showing you unique equipment or software setups to add the missing element to your episodes or teaching you professional level techniques that will help you stand out from the competition, you're guaranteed to learn how to make your show better.
Well,
So
My problem with a Gen 1 event is the first one really worth going to?
Well, that's a great question, Nick. And I would say in this case, yes. You know why? Because there have already been several podcasting events, and it's a lot of the same people.
All right, but like for example, there was a gaming event in New York City, and it was a Gen 1 event, and I didn't go to it because it was expensive and it was a Gen 1 event. I mean, I couldn't imagine.
Wasn't it a scam though?
Well, it turned out to be a scam.
Yeah.
But for example, I don't know what a plane ticket from here to Dallas would cost. Maybe $500-600, maybe less. But plus what the $100-something for the event, plus board and stuff. So you're looking upwards of $1,000 for this event. That's a lot to spend for a first gen, not established event.
I tell you what, your best opportunities for networking are going to be at a Gen 1 event, because they're wanting it to be so successful. Some of these guys are going to be more available to you, that's one of the advantages I would say for a Gen 1 event.
Well, I wish them well. I hope it goes really well, but I hope that with time they are able to improve the message a little bit, because all this get rich quick stuff, boy, I really think it's going to hurt the industry. Calling it an industry, that's what they call it. I really think it's going to be dangerous. And
because it's total BS.
Yeah, I mean, it's Amway-ish type.
There's no
Quickstar.
get rich quick. It doesn't happen.
It's just not there. And,
no, it's not.
There is some way.
No, not with podcasting.
The person that gives those classes,
even they're not making that kind of money.
No.
We're not going to get into it here, but some of these people have been caught in bald-faced lies on the air. Andrew heard one of these guys caught in a bald-faced lie on his own live show about how much money he was making. So I don't buy that for all. But you know what's interesting here, guys, and I'm not going to tell who it is, but you guys and privately when we talk, you could probably figure out who it is. There are two people on this list of speakers or session leaders or whatever they are who are going to talk about audio and putting things together. These guys really don't have a clue what they're doing, and I have held private sessions with both of them trying to teach them audio, and it's like pulling teeth. And yet they're going to go down to this event and speak as experts. One of these guys has a really bad habit of taking what I quote-unquote teach him, and then it shows up pretty soon in one of his blog articles as if he wrote it, and my name is never mentioned. He's welcome to it. More power to him. But I could almost, after some of the discussions and exchanges we have, I can almost tell you what his next blog post is going to be.
Well,
as you know, to use your multi-level marketing analogy with Amway, the truth is a lot of early adopters who get into a space can make some money, but then they make it seem like everybody else following are going to be able to do the same. So you take a particular individual who gets into, who just really, timing is everything, who starts a podcast on a particular subject that goes viral, that opens up more opportunities for networking. While this person is growing in his podcasting skills, he's beginning to share it with others, and then comes up with the, he's maybe foresees something that, hey, this could be a growing thing. So now there's going to be equipment sales, and then there's going to be consulting and all this kind of stuff. And that's a formula that just kind of happens. You may or may not be able to duplicate or create that, and to imply that others can is. I'm not going to say necessarily it's dishonest, but it's not the whole story.
It's misleading at best.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's exactly right. I mean, that's the multi-level thing, in that you go to a multi-level meeting, you get rooked into one of those, defrauded into attending one of those. There's this presentation about, look how much the owner of the company is making. He made $174 million last month. Okay. Well, that doesn't mean anything. And again, I'm sitting here looking at this list, and some of these guys on here are really brilliant public speakers. They are top-notch salespeople. These guys could sell moose meat to Spencer up in Alaska. I mean, these guys they don't come much better. I mean, but what are they? They're timeshare salesmen who have decided to expand their reach by getting into podcasting. Mm-hmm. Is that good for the industry? I don't think the timeshare industry is good for real estate. But whatever.
Hey, let me share with you a tech thing. Some of you know, I know Mike knows, I work for a company that's in the healthcare business, and a local entity here has asked me to come and make a presentation to their staff this Thursday morning at 10:30, and so I'm really honored to do that. I think it's going to be exciting. So I happened to get a look at their conference room where I'm going to be doing this presentation, and I wanted to see, did they have a big flat screen TV as part of their conference room equipment, and if so, was there an empty HDMI slot, and did it have a USB port in the back? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Chromebook and I'm going to take my Chromecast, and all I have to do is plug my Chromecast into the back of their TV in their conference room, power it with a USB port on the back of the TV, which they have, and I'm going to be able to cast anything that I want to share with them in that meeting, including our website, navigate it, and show prices and stuff like that. I'm going to be able to do that all with just the Chromecast and the Chromebook. I think that is going to be a great opportunity for people who want to present remotely. I know it's something that I've already done once at a convention that I went to, but that you can throw that Chromecast into my my little bag that I carry my Chromebook in, and and most conference rooms do have LCD TV. A lot of them are moving away from LCD projectors and stuff like that. So I just think that's really cool. I'm looking forward to it. And by the way, I found out you can Chromecast Google Slides. If you've created a quote PowerPoint presentation using Google Slides, you can cast that as well. So in Chromecast, a lot more, since the API came out last month, man, a bunch of new stuff is coming out, new apps. So I like
Chromecast is available in the UK now as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to order it from abroad and potentially pay any surcharges. You can get it direct now.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Talkshoe.
That used to be me, didn't it?
Does it die? I go and I click, it stopped, so I'm clicking on My Talkshoe, I'm clicking on Computers 2K Now.
It shouldn't do if you're on TalkShoe Live Pro unless they've messed about with the...
Then I'm clicking on the Live Pro, and it comes up, and it's trying to, it says begins to load, and it just keeps on going and going and going, and then it says fail to connect.
You may have to shut down the TalkShoe Live Pro itself and then go in via the main page of your profile page. Reload it from there.
Yeah, well, I'm going, although, I closed the browser. It says cannot connect to server. Verify that your firewall settings allow connection over port 4900 and try again.
Oh, the call's not live at the moment.
No, it's not. It died.
Okay. In that case, it'll be hung. Not much you can do about it.
That's all right. No big deal.
It's not showing as live, so it's it looks like it's terminated, but it's probably terminated only partly, so it's hanging in the background. Yeah, I don't have access to it now. I can't do anything about it. Sorry.
That's all right. I was just wondering if I'm doing something wrong. That's all right.
No,
anyway,
I think they must have done something to TalkShoe Live Pro because a couple of weeks now you said you've had problems which never used to happen in Pro. So
yeah, even today I had to. Mike taught me that trick about putting a period and enter to keep it live.
Yeah.
And I would hit it and nothing, hit it and nothing, hit it and nothing. And then about a minute later, it'll say, lost connection. Do you want to reconnect? And I said, yes. And bam, you see 5 periods there.
That would do it in the browser. That used to happen. But in TalkShoe Live Pro, that never used to happen. So they must have done something to change it in there because that was they always used to send a keep alive signal.
Yeah, I think, Mike, last time it was solved by something that had to do with the UBI, didn't it? The UBI? Didn't you
I don't know. All sorts of problems are solved by getting rid of the UBI.
No.
Yeah, the UBI's a piece of junk.
I was going to ask you, Nick, now that you've worked with your new modem for a while, what do you think?
I haven't had a single issue since.
So you think a lot of the issues for which you were blaming Time Warner were really an issue with the UBI?
Yes, as of right now, I would say that. I had one issue the other night, and it turned out that somebody was uploading a video.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly not their fault.
Yeah. So, Yes, I would say most of the issue was the Ubi.
The Ubi.
That was my experience as well.
Yeah. And the surfboard is fairly inexpensive, so.
Spence, are you going to... Oh, I wonder if he's listening. Are you going to connect at least voice?
Didn't he say he didn't bring a microphone?
Oh, I didn't read. I don't know.
I thought when he was on last week he was saying what he was bringing.
Oh, he says yes.
Oh, okay. He did.
Spence is in Fairbanks. I don't know if he's traveling today and he's somewhere else, but
Yeah, I like his 2001 Saturn that he bought. I used to have a 2001 Saturn. We'll have to hear how it's spec'd out, if it's got all the extra heaters he described last
yeah,
week.
he did say that it did.
Do you guys know who Arthur Smith is? I know you don't, Nick.
No, I don't.
Sounds familiar. Is that...
Guitar Boogie.
Oh, yeah. That's right. He's the
The
original.
Charlotte guy who's been around for years and
Yeah.
years and years and years. Arthur Smith and the Cracker Jack Quartet and all that.
And
Well, for anyone who knows who he is, he's 93 years old, and he's probably getting ready to pass away. He is very sick, and he is no longer able to eat solid food, so we will probably lose him before long. He and my father knew each other well. They were about the same age, and I've known him for years and years and years. For a long time, he operated Arthur Smith Recording Studios in Charlotte, which is where James Brown recorded Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, where Johnny Cash recorded a lot of songs. Of course, Arthur recorded all of his stuff there. The Embers recorded I Love Beach Music there. Just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of things recorded there. In fact, I had a little band back in 1970. We went up there and recorded a song. And when I got there, my guitar wouldn't stay in tune, so Arthur gave me his 1966 Gibson ES335 TDC to play on the session, which I did, which was kind of interesting.
yeah,
He actually did a series over at Public TV about 10 years ago. They did it's called Carolina Calling series they did on Public TV, where they had a lot of his guests come in and play. And he was 80 something back then, obviously, and he was still doing well. I mean, the guy was an amazing guitarist. He probably single-handedly did more to bring country music into the forefront than anyone else, because he was on Charlotte television, and what he would do is take his country artist onto television, which is actually where they got the idea for the TV show Hee Haw. And Hee Haw is the first show that made country music mainstream at a national level. So he's a legend.
Twitter has only just turned 8 years old. But in that time, it's become so pervasive that some of its conventions have spread beyond Twitter itself. And its character limit seems almost like a natural law. Now, BuzzFeed reports that some Twitter-isms may be about to change. Based on screenshots of interfaces in alpha testing, it seems that hashtags and @ replies may be on the chopping block. Or, based on some updates made to the story, at least made less visible for some readers. And I'm not ashamed to say I still don't understand what is all this hashtags and @ signs and all that. I mean, I go and I just tweet.
Hey, Emma.
I never use @ or hash or whatever. Yeah, I know you tried to explain to me
No, where did you find that article?
on Slashdot.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't know what their source is for that, but the hashtag and did you say they're getting rid of the hashtag and @?
Yeah, it says that
The @ is the only way to communicate on Twitter. So if they were to get rid of that, they would basically shut down Twitter. So I'm not sure how accurate that source is.
BuzzFeed. I don't know where they get it
Yeah,
from.
that doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, that sign is the only way to communicate directly to somebody publicly.
Well,
I just saw on the news that Apple this week is going to seek a $2 billion in damage for a new, fresh patent battle against Samsung. So the battle continues.
and probably the never-ending story. There's going to be a movie one of these days. What, Nick?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, was it Steve?
Nope.
Somebody was trying to say something. Okay. While we're waiting for Spence to connect and give us the Alaska specials, said moose is $5.50 a pound. So I love this article here, but I love the opening of it. So bear with me here. Achilles Tsiroulis of Brunel University, UK, Dimitris Lampoudis of the University of Macedonia, Greece, and Emmanuel Tseklevis of Lancaster University, UK. I love those names. Have investigated, but this is important, investigated the vulnerabilities of WPA2 and presents its weakness. They say that this wireless security system might now be breached with relative ease by a malicious attack on a network. They suggest that it is now a matter of urgency that security experts and programmers work together to remove the vulnerabilities in WPA2 in order to bolster its security or to develop alternative protocols to keep our wireless networks safe from hackers and malware. If you're using WPA2 on your wireless router and you have the ability and the availability to use something stronger, go for it. Don't keep using WPA2. The wireless security, I know, is on the last on anybody's mind when you are at home, but now that there's going to be a bunch of XPs that probably will be vulnerable, and they're going to stay there. A lot of them are not going away. If you don't have good security on your router, you are doubling and quadrupling your chances of getting hacked. Mike, what are you smiling about, Mike?
Can't tell you.
Oh, never mind.
Let me ask you an XP question. Those of you that have had experience with VirtualBox and running virtual PCs, what kind of liabilities are there if you're running something like XP in a VirtualBox, a virtual machine?
I never used any virtual anything. I believe in building another machine and put it next to it.
Okay, I mean,
Come
there
on,
are a
chat
lot of
room.
people. There are a lot of people who are really strong Linux users and everything, and they'll be running Windows on a virtual machine, and it works quite well. I'm just curious as to what are the malware virus liabilities to the entire machine if you're running it in a virtual machine. Is it just that virtual machine that's affected? If so, you could just delete it and do another one, or? I guess I'll have to Google it. Google.
Dirtbag. Jason is on the chat. Come on, Jason.
Okay, I do have good news for you with regard to XP. There is actually a very good reason to pay attention to the end of life notice from Microsoft, in that after April 4th or 7th or whatever the date is, if you're using Microsoft Security Essentials, it will no longer be updated for XP.
Okay, well, then you go with Avast or something else.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's risky to get caught without an antivirus, a working
absolutely.
antivirus.
Morning, Spence.
Good morning. How's my audio sound?
It's okay. Are you
Yeah,
on
I'm
a,
using a headset. I'm on a Bluetooth headset.
on a phone?
No, it's a Legend Voyager. What do you call it? A Plantronics headset.
No, I mean, are you using your phone or are you using your laptop?
No, I'm using my laptop.
Oh. So what's the temperature
Yeah, I
up
didn't-
there?
Well, right now, I went out to the lobby and walked outside. I think it's about 3. The temperature is kind of, when they predict it overnight, they'll say like -3 to +7. Depends on where you are in town, because the Fairbanks is in a valley and surrounded by mountains. Some of them are pretty far out, but if you go up into the hills, it's actually a little warmer. But the coldest it's been here yet since I was here since Tuesday is 0.
Wow.
It's cold,
Wow.
but it goes down. This is unseasonably warm for the spring. Normally,
You are in
it's,
Alaska.
they said they were commenting when I was over at checking in at the job on Wednesday, saying that it's interesting that nobody's had to plug their car in for 2 weeks, which is like, wow, that's so great. So, very interesting. There's still a lot of snow on the ground. It hasn't snowed since I got here. It's been sunny every day. It's supposed to be cloudy now for the next few days. Maybe some snow flurries.
Yeah, Bruce wanted to
Yes.
hear details about the car.
Oh yeah, it's interesting. I just was checking Craigslist, and this car was a 2001 Saturn L300, which I never owned a Saturn before, but it looked really good. And I'm looking for something that I can easily sell at the end of the season when I come back. But I just called the guy on Craigslist, and the went over to see it right away. Called him 8:00 in the morning. The ad appeared the night before, and I got over there, and he's telling me how he bought this car, and he only put about 2,000 miles on it since he bought it a year ago, and what he paid for it. And then he said, "Yeah, I'm moving to North Carolina," which I thought was pretty funny.
It always
So
evens
I got a
out.
car. He always what?
Evens out.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
So the question, Spence, is can you see Russia from your front door?
No, somebody said that to me in a text message, and I said something back that I can't say on the air
Oh.
about a certain planet that's usually used with in a derogatory way.
Mhm.
So how's the
Yeah.
internet in
Uh-oh.
Alaska, Spence?
Uh-oh. Did it
Same,
again.
same thing again. I wonder
Disconnect,
why it's-
reconnect, Nick.
I wonder why it's happening to Nick.
Must be that Ubi router modem.
Did you ever hear anything like this before in audio, Mike?
I have not.
Nor have I.
Is that any better?
It is.
I hate Skype.
Yep.
Me 3.
Yeah, but this has to be, well, you're still not showing video.
I'm sending video now.
Yeah, I see it.
You do? I don't.
I
All
see it on
Off and
Skype.
back. I'll
Oh,
turn it
now
off
he's
and
off.
back on.
He's
All right, turning it back
spinning.
on.
It's just spinning and
Oh.
spinning.
Oh, he's trying. That's what he's definitely done. He's definitely trying, without doubt.
It must be something to do with the computer, though.
What?
It must be there you go. It must have something to do with the new motherboard, CPU, something, because this never happened before with you.
Or it could just be a Skype issue.
Yeah.
Even though we were on for like 3 hours last night on Google Plus, and it did it right when I joined, and then I reconnected and
That's
it was
right.
fine the whole time.
That's correct. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So go ahead, Spence. Sorry.
Oh, Sorry.
Nick, you were asking.
oh,
Spence
how's the internet up there? Is it high speed enough?
That's a very interesting question because the apartment that I rented, I was over there to look at it the other day talking to the landlord, and she said, yeah, they have it's internet that's shared with another tenant in the building. And she said they've got the bare minimum internet. She said it may not be enough for streaming video. So I started to look to see, well, what's available here. And there's a company called GCI, which apparently has a partnership with Comcast, but they're a local provider in Alaska that is putting in fiber. Wow. They support high speed. I mean, you can get up to 50 down, but they have caps. And I was looking at that on their webpage. I'm probably going to head over there today because they have an office just down the street from where I'm staying to see what the deal is. But it starts at about, they had a 6-month special for their entry level, which is, I think it's 5 down and something, I don't know what the up was. It was $39 for a 6-month special. So I'm going to see what I qualify for if I do get it.
But did you check the speed of the apartment? I mean, I know they said it's the bare minimum.
I didn't have time. Oh. I didn't have time to.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say that they told you that, and then you checked it that it was 10 megabits symmetrical.
No. I think the lady was pretty knowledgeable about what I was talking about. But if I can get decent streaming speeds, that's all I need. Actually, I'll tell an interesting story. I brought my Roku with me, and I'm in the hotel, and the hotel has free Wi-Fi, and it's pretty decent. It's about 4 or 5 down. And I said, hey, I wonder if I get the Roku to work with the hotel system because it's got a authentication challenge. You have to go in and accept on the splash page to get Wi-Fi to work. So sure enough, there's a way to do it. It's very clever. You go and you figure out what the MAC address is of your Roku. You spoof the MAC address with your laptop, which turns out doing it on a Mac is much easier than doing it on a Windows PC. That's not my comment. That's a comment of the guy who wrote the article. You log in to the network with the spoofed address from the Roku. Then you disconnect from the Mac, plug the Roku in, and the Roku works. You don't have to go through the issues with authenticating. So I watched a movie on Roku last night.
Now, at the Fairfield Inn, they have a similar login system, and you have to do it every 24 hours. It won't keep you logged in. Some motels I've stayed in, the login will last longer than that. So are you going to have to do this repeatedly,
Probably, but I'm only here for another day. Mm-hmm. So I'm supposed to be able to get in the apartment tomorrow on Monday. It's a day early. My lease starts on the 1st, so I'll find out.
Oh. At least you connected to the outside world.
Yeah. So Bruce, the Saturn L300 is, you know what? I paid the fair price for a private sale. I checked out the vehicle and all that, but what it came with, which was kind of interesting, is it had brand new tires on it, and it had an extra set of brand new summer tires because up here they have to use aggressive. They typically don't leave the same tires on the car all year round because of the snow. But I thought that was that's $300 right there for a set of new tires. So at least. But Gary's asking why I'm here. I'm actually working for the summer for a cruise line's land-based operations transportation group, where they provide transportation and guest services for people who are on tours. And they either start on the ship and wind up on land, or they start on land and work their way down to the ship. So throughout Alaska, the cruise line has lodges, and each area has their own little transportation group with drivers and guest services hosts and all the supporting roles that go into the whole tourist experience. So my wife and I are going to both work here for the summer. I'm up here for training because I have to get my CDL or bus. And I went through that experience last week, which was a good thing they give you more than one day to go through it, because you can't get anything done. And let me tell you that the motor vehicle department here is wonderful. It's not really crowded. It's got a great system for getting help, but just, I don't have that right paper, or this paper is wrong, or you have to go get this first. So it was one of those things where I had to go back 2 or 3 times to finally get it done. But I'm now the proud owner of a Alaska driver's license.
So when you come back here, you have to redo your North Carolina?
Yeah. But I made sure that I got a motorcycle endorsement here, so that when I go back, I don't have to go through when I convert my license back again, they'll do 1 for 1. I don't have to go through a big process, except I probably have to take the written test again and a vision test, but I don't have to do a road test, which is good.
Do you have to renew your license every year?
I think, where I came from, it was 5 years. And here, I'm not sure. I have to look at the license. I think it's 4 or 5 years.
Why? Because in the UK, unless it's changed, and I'm not aware of it, when you pass your test, so you could pass your test at 17, the youngest age, you keep your driving license till you're 65, as long as you don't have any endorsements.
So you don't have to pay every year or every so?
No.
Yeah, over here
No.
you have to go. It's not every year. Now it's every 8 years here.
Right.
And you have to go and do an eye test and sign test, road signs, and that's it. You don't have to do the written test or anything.
Okay.
But every time.
And I know it's a lot harsher and a lot more difficult to pass the test. There's a lot more specifics involved now than it was when I passed. When I passed, it's basically, can you read that number plate over there? All right, drive around the block a few times. Okay, here's your license. You've not hit anything. Well done.
Yeah. So, what you got for us? Did you have time to work on specials, Alaska specials?
Oh no, I just woke up at 6 o'clock.
You didn't get the paper?
There is no paper in the
Come
hotel.
on, what is this? There is
the
no
local
paper.
is very small. The only office store in town is Office Max. That's it. There's no other that I could see.
Wow.
But
So you're
there's
4 hours difference there where you are in Alaska, right?
4 hours, yeah. 4
Yeah.
hours. So I hope I'm trying to talk really low. I don't think the insulation in a hotel between the walls is pretty good. You could probably hear people having a conversation very mutedly, but I don't want to wake anybody up by talking here. So, but I'll go on mute here. I was actually starting to look at stuff. So I'll come back in a little bit.
All right.
I'll work on it. I'm going to go off. I'll stay online, but I'm going to go get another cup of coffee and come back.
I mean, you don't have caps and stuff on your internet?
Not in a hotel.
Oh, that's right. You're on their Wi-Fi. Okay.
Yeah.
What and you didn't say what speed is it there at the hotel?
I tested it. It was 4 or 5 down, almost 2 up.
That's great for a
So I
hotel.
think-
You didn't even get that in the U.S. and U.S. hotels.
Yeah, I think
He is in the U.S.
Well, I mean, like
Yeah.
like inside of
In the lower 48.
the lower-
Contiguous
lower
48
yeah.
states.
yeah.
lower 40.
It was at a hotel and it was
Yeah,
like
they-
600 milliseconds ping and 64K down.
And they want to know why you're complaining.
But it's
They use
free.
moose. They use moose antlers up here for antennas.
And you had to log in?
Yes. Well, I just had to go. They have a splash screen whenever you start up
Yeah.
your session on the computer. You have to say, I agree to the terms and conditions of this broadband internet for Best Western. So you do that. Once you're in the session, like I've never left something on, but based on what Bruce said, I've never left something on long enough to know if it will stay up not
But
usually
what-
just.
But what happened if
Shut-
you
that-
what happened if you're in a car outside and you can also anybody can log in, or you have
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
an
there's
open.
I mean, some hotels have a challenge where you have to put in the room number or they give you a key that changes.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much open.
Yeah, the password for the Fairfield Inn Marriott where I stay for the last 3 years has been guest at Fairfield.
Well,
Yeah.
all right, go get coffee.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
So Nick Gene is asking in chat about building a gaming machine. What do you suggest that he should do?
Gene. Gene?
Seem to have missed the conversation.
Yeah, his 13-year-old grandson wants to build a gaming machine. He's wondering. So some people have responded about sites he can go to find out stuff.
All right, so
Tiger.
I guess the first thing I would ask is what your budget would be. That's, I think, the most important part of it.
Well,
Did you
assume
see
it's
that new-
unlimited.
Gene, why aren't you calling in?
But you know, the
Actually,
interesting
he said
thing
about
is people.
$500.
What'd you say, Steve?
He said about $500. It should be right at the top of your chat screen. Just about to go off when somebody posts something else.
Well, you're not going to get a whole lot of gaming machine for $500.
Yeah, but you know what the interesting thing, Mike, is a lot of like just like regular consumer laptops will play most games at a pretty decent setting. Like I could go out to the store and drop maybe $800 on a laptop and probably be able to play some bare minimum games at some all right settings. You don't have to drop $6,000 to play a game.
And besides, there are games and there are games. I mean, some people call going and playing a flight simulator a game.
Well, that's actually
is-
extremely intensive. So
Yeah, I know. And some are going for, what is that thing that you were building on the server? What is it? Minecraft.
Oh, yeah. Well, Minecraft's extremely intensive as
Really?
well. Actually, yeah,
Oh.
it doesn't look like it, but because it's a Java application, it is.
I saw. I'm trying to find it right now, but it was NVIDIA or somebody came out with some kind of. I saw a news article about a new graphics card that was like $3,000.
Oh, the Titan,
Yeah,
the GTX Titan, yeah. The Titan Black, I think, is 3,000. No, it's 1,100. Oh no,
Yeah.
never mind. The GTX Titan T is $3,000.
and what makes it $3,000?
It
Gold tip soldering.
it's an unbelievable gaming graphics card.
Yeah, be great for Bitcoin mining.
It's
probably.
got two processors in it, so it's pretty beefy, a pretty beefy thing.
Do you need a computer?
Yes, Sam.
Somebody needs to come up with a way to connect a card to a laptop externally, like not through USB, but a different way. So you can take a GPU like this.
See, that's the biggest problem with laptops.
There you go again.
Oh,
Bzz, bzz, bzz.
I'm gonna try to restart my computer. I'll be right back.
All right.
Isn't that what Thunderbolt is supposed to have done?
Yeah, but I don't think for video.
Yeah, it'll do. I mean, it sends video signal to a monitor, doesn't it? Then it's got to pass through, a bit like USB does, so you can plug in multiple things. I thought that's what people were raving about because of the throughput that it's got. It could enable all sorts of different devices that would normally be way too hungry.
Oh,
Perhaps I'm wrong. I
I
don't
don't
know.
want to change. Yeah, I will change.
No, he'll be back in a sec. He's only doing a reboot. I bet he's on SSD, so he'll be back in about 3.5 seconds.
So let's go with another story here.
Is it going to depress me?
No, it will not.
Awesome.
As we all know, there is no free lunch. There's also no cost-free delivery of streaming movies. Someone has to pay that cost. Mr. Hastings' arrogant proposition is that everyone else should pay but Netflix. Hastings is with Netflix. That may be a nice deal if he can get it, but it's not how the internet or telecommunication, for that matter, has ever worked. Writes AT&T Senior Executive Vice President of Legislative Affairs, James Ciccone. Mr. Ciccone took issues with the blog post from Netflix CEO Reed Hastings on the importance of net neutrality. So apparently Netflix is trying to do, I mean, you can't blame a CEO for trying to get something for free for their own company. If he didn't, he wouldn't be doing his job. And talking about movies and free movies and so forth, Amazon is gearing up to launch a free video streaming service for both television and music videos. Nick, you want to talk about that? Uh-oh, we can't hear you. It's just not coming. Nothing. We don't hear anything.
You should be able to hear me.
Now we hear.
All right. No, you can go ahead and talk about it.
According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, the videos would be ad-supported in the vein of Hulu and YouTube, and the service would reportedly follow the launch of Amazon's as yet unannounced streaming device. So I guess Amazon is going to have a device a la Chromecast too. But a service like that's for free would be nice for a lot of people. So you were going to say earlier, Nick, when you're...
I don't even remember.
Oh well.
We're talking about building a gaming PC.
Oh, yeah.
And graphics cards and
Yeah, I don't remember.
I was
exactly
saying
what I was
something. They need to come up with something that will connect.
Oh yeah, I was saying the biggest issue with the laptops is the built-in Intel graphic.
Yeah,
which
but that's my point. If you could take a video card and have some kind of a cable that externally, like with the PCIe slot.
But how would you hook How would you hook the laptop?
I know.
Up
I don't know. I mean, in the early days, the early laptops had some kind of a bus connector on the back, and I don't know that. I don't think new ones have it, which is you used to dock them through it, and that went straight directly to the bus. I don't know. I'm just saying it would be nice because then you can take something.
Well, there are gaming laptops that have graphics cards in them.
Right. You mean a slot or graphics
No,
card?
like an actual graphics card built into it.
Yeah.
Something better than the Intel HD.
Alienware.
No. There's a lot of MSIs makes computers that have it.
Oh.
Before I forget it, Amnon,
Yes.
the Home Depot near you has the Cree LED bulbs on sale for about $4 each.
I saw that yesterday when you were talking on Rick's.
You need to go get about 10 of them. My wife said that it may only be this weekend that they're on sale.
I was actually planning on it.
If you don't like them, I'll buy them back from you.
No, I mean, I saw him in the store, and there's nothing not to like, but the price was
well, you said about a CFL, but the CFLs, you have to decide if you like it. What about the color, the temperature, and all that? But these LEDs, my wife even likes them.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with any light bulb as long as it puts out light.
Well, these these 60-watt bulbs put out more lumens than the standard incandescent 60-watt bulb.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I saw it. They're right at the entrance. They had.
You know what's interesting about these LED bulbs is that they turn on so quickly. If you have a flaky light switch, you can see what's called switch bounce when you turn on the light, and that is you can see it flicker very quickly when you turn it on while the the wiper in the switch is making contact.
This is nice, and I was reading, and actually there is some other company that you were talking about. How many watts does it use?
The 60 watts use 9.5.
Yeah, I was reading while you were talking about it yesterday. I was reading about LED lights, and there's another company, and they say it's using 0.8, which is not even 1 watt for a 60 watt. But for the studio, I couldn't use them.
Gary says he bought one. He doesn't like the plastic coating. I think as neat as it can be. Brent says that Cree has a 100-watt replacement. I got to tell you, when that 100-watt replacement's down to about $4 or $5, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. What if you need 200 and you say take 2, use 2? You know,
2 of them. I've got a fixture in my shop over here. I've got 2 100-watt bulbs side by side to generate more light in the shop, and it turns out that in that particular environment, that's too much heat up at that fixture. And in fact, today I need to go get a replacement pair of sockets for that sucker.
You mean with incandescent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, way too hot. And that would be very, very neat. The plastic coating outgasses and smells bad. Well, I know some people who do the same thing, Gary. But I still like it.
I got a couple of Cree torches. One that runs on, I think, 4 D cells, and another one that runs on 3 AA cells. And the light that comes off of them is unbelievable. I think one of them's got something like about a mile beam. You know, I put it when I first got it. I stuck it on, just switched it on. It's only got one setting on and off, and shone it across right in the distance, probably over half a mile away. And I was lighting up the chimney pots from across there. I'm sure if I was to have lit it or shone it into somebody's window, they probably would have ripped the window back, thinking, "What the hell's going on? It's daylight."
This is interesting. As you all know, the default video on the show is Vaughn. So I would imagine that most people will just stay with that. And I was just looking over on Bamboozer, and there's just as many users over there, viewers over there. Is Vaughn not good? People that switched over to
I'm not sure how accurate those numbers might be.
I know, but I mean, it's the only numbers we have, and at least, I mean, you know, you go to Justin, and there's 1 or 2 users. You go to Daily Motion, and there's just a few. But over here, and I thought everybody would be on Vaughn.
It's interesting on the Bamboozer one. You can click on that where it says 14 viewers, and you see how many total viewers there have been since the show started, which is 58. You click back, now it's up to 17. So we just had 3 more switch over, probably from Vaughn. I like the video on Bamboozer. It's clearer and crisper.
Yeah, because I'm streaming directly to it from this machine. The Daily Motion and Justin are through the second machine. So Vaughn and Bamboozer should be really the same quality. I'm just wondering why people switch to Bamboozer. But anyway, back to the LEDs. It's probably everybody's going to go to it because, I mean, remember in the early days, CFLs were expensive. And then the power company started giving you like a rebate right there at the store. I remember buying a bunch of them when it was $4 for 4 of them, but if you buy it now, then CP&L back then is putting $2, so it costs you $2 or something like that. And I'm sure the same thing would happen with LED. It may take a little longer.
The price will come down, but here's the point: at $4 a bulb, if they truly last.
Listen to what Gary's saying. He says the power company was giving away. Yeah, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, CFLs. But at $4 a bulb, if they in fact last 4 times longer than a regular bulb, then at least the value is there, plus the cost savings. The problem with CFLs is they do not, for most people, last longer or even as long as incandescent bulbs. Anybody can disagree all they want to, but I saved them for a long time, and I'll show them to you.
I don't know. I think there are different qualities in that too. The CFLs that I bought over at Home Depot, I believe it was, they last, but they don't last that long. Incandescent, forget about it. I mean, it's like every 6 months, 7 months, and it goes out.
Yep. I'm blown away by these LEDs. I still don't think the government ought to mandate them. I think the marketplace ought to decide. And based on the quality of the light that these bulbs are putting out, I don't know why anyone would want to use an incandescent bulb instead of one of these bulbs if they can get them for $4 a piece. I just don't see it. Because if you think about it, I mean, you probably, I mean, I don't know, typical house, 20 bulbs would probably cover 80% of the 60-watt bulbs in your house for the average house. It's not 100 bulbs. It may be 10 bulbs. If you're like us and you're empty nesters, then you probably only use about 10 60-watt bulbs for the lion's share of the day and night.
Right.
And the power savings, that's an added bonus. That's helpful. But the point is that these bulbs put out good quality light. The thing that I'm excited about them is that, and I mentioned this on Rick's house yesterday, Amnon, you heard this, is that they don't generate all of this heat within the light fixture.
Right.
I have a light fixture that has always had 2 60-watt bulbs for which it is rated, and the sockets in the fixture have gotten brown, hard, hot, and they're cracking. I've got to replace the sockets in this fixture because I used a bulb for which it was rated.
Right.
That would never have happened with LEDs.
It definitely is going to be cooler. There's no doubt.
Well, we have a single bulb fixture above our sink in the kitchen. And my wife said, I want to put one of the LED bulbs in it. The bulb that is in there is not bright enough. It's just not quite bright enough. I said, okay, let's try it and see. I went up to the fixture to take the bulb, turned it off, to take the bulb out. And I mean, this thing was way too hot to touch. I had to grab a dish rag to be able to take the bulb out of the fixture. When I got the bulb out, I saw that it was a 130-volt 60-watt bulb. Well, a 130-volt bulb at 60 watt is not as bright as a 120-volt bulb on the same mains voltage. It's just not. It's not supposed to be. But the 130-volt bulbs, because you're operating them at less than rated voltage, they last longer if you can tolerate the lower output.
Right.
I put the new bulb in. I let it run for a few hours and went back and grabbed the fixture. Slightly warm. Yep. No big deal. I like it.
Yeah, it definitely it's going to get there, but it's going to have to come down a lot more. So now tell me, there are 40 watts too, right?
Yeah, those are readily available, but they weren't on sale.
And they are more expensive than the 60s.
If they're not on sale, they are lower priced retail but they're not the ones. When I went over there to look, the pricing on the 40s was retail, while the 60s were discounted.
Yeah.
If your local store is selling one, just buy one and play with it. If you've never tried it, it's worthwhile.
No, I mean, there's no reason to play with it. It's just a matter.
Well,
I mean, I would have bought
it this way.
What?
If you share my dislike for CFLs, go try one of these Cree 60-watt LEDs.
Hey, Nick, I'm curious, as a gamer, what your take is on Facebook's $2 billion purchase of Oculus Rift is. You know anybody that's experimenting around with Oculus Rift? I know its primary thing is with games.
I personally haven't experienced anything with it, and I believe that them selling to Facebook means that they didn't have much hope in their product. That's my honest opinion of it.
Mind you, $2 billion isn't anything to be sneezed at, is it?
Well, no, it is, but I just the product is brand new, and for them to sell so early is very interesting.
Well, I mean, Zuckerberg's not an idiot.
No.
What do you think they have in mind in investing $2 billion? And that includes Oculus Rift making some certain KPIs by a certain time before they get, I think there's like 300 million as part of that. It's tied to some meetings of some expectations. But, what did Zuckerberg see in Oculus Rift to cause them to want to move that way? And Facebook has been making some a lot of acquisitions this year so far.
I don't know what he saw in it. I mean, I don't think that the Oculus Rift is anything great. The resolution of the thing is like 720p. I don't know. I don't think it's anything great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Maybe something will come of it, but I don't think so.
What about this thing that Sony's come out with that's going to be kind of like their competitive
I think that
thing?
looks way more promising than the Oculus Rift because it's got game developer support because it's on a platform. The Oculus Rift has no support for anything. There's no game support at all. That's the problem.
Well, maybe that's what Facebook is going to input into the process is try to do some of their own support to.
Yeah, but I mean, are people really going to buy a $400 Oculus Rift to play Farmville? I mean, the real use case for something like the Oculus Rift is for a hardcore gamer. Regular people aren't going to buy one.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I just
see
don't
where
think
they're going to incorporate that level of technology into a community site.
Maybe, but regular people aren't going to purchase one, so that seems kind of stupid on their part if they were going to.
Well, let's see what else we have here. Florida District Court Judge Ursula Ungaro has dismissed a lawsuit brought by Malibu Media against an alleged BitTorrent pirate. Though Malibu Media explained how they geolocated the download site and verified that the IP address was residential rather than public Wi-Fi hotspot, the judge reasoned that the plaintiff has not shown how this geolocation software can establish the identity of the defendant. Even if this IP address is located within a residence, the geolocation software cannot identify who has access to that residence's computer and who would actually be using it to infringe plaintiff's copyright. Judge Ungaro's ruling is not the first of its kind, but it could signal a growing legal trend whereby copyright lawsuits can no longer just hinge on the acquisition of an IP address. And again, this is why we're saying, you need to secure your Wi-Fi because somebody can come outside during the day when you're not home, park their car, and run a server.
Actually, this is actually this that would be a reason to unsecure your Wi-Fi.
That's what I was just going to say.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
At the moment,
if I want to torrent something, if my Wi-Fi's open, I'm going to say I have an open access point. Somebody could have driven down my street and torrented something on my internet.
Right.
For the benefit of mankind, it would be better if everyone had their Wi-Fi open. Then, therefore, you not have to worry if you were out and about and you were in an area that you were uncertain of and you needed to get home. If you could just know that you could switch on your laptop and there would be free Wi-Fi available, then is that not benefiting everybody?
Yes, it does, but it also is open to abuse because
then
not malicious abuse. I'm talking about if you come home and you want to go do something and somebody else is on your Wi-Fi doing massive download or upload that eats your bandwidth, and now suddenly you can't do what you want to do.
Well, then you just go outside and say, "Oi, numpty, push off."
Well,
as if you know what could possibly be the causes of it. But the point that this makes is the IP address does not equal a person. It equals the bill payer.
Right.
But unless you're physically there at that specific moment in time, or that exact moment in time, and can see the person that's doing whatever it is that you're alleging is illegal, tough. I think there's about 4 judges now that have come to the same conclusion, and I'm hoping it's going to be continuing on that way because, it is an IP address. It's like you wouldn't get done for speeding in an automatic license plate number capture or photograph. You wouldn't get done for speeding in that vehicle unless they could physically prove it was you that was driving that vehicle. An IP address is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Actually, that is one of the reasons I have an open access point.
Mine's open all the time. Come and have it if you want it. I can always turn it if I come home and I find it's being used and somebody's using a lot more bandwidth than I want. Well, fine, I just disable public access for a while and then just turn it straight back on again.
Yeah, but you see, Steve, you can argue it.
But that's the point. You have to argue it, otherwise they're going to make it seem like having an open Wi-Fi point potentially is illegal and potentially you could be liable. The more they start ramming that idea home, the more people start to believe it. They need to start saying, actually, no, what you're trying to imply here is totally wrong, and it's not illegal in any way, shape, or form.
To what, have an open access point?
Yeah, it's not illegal.
No, it's not illegal to have an open access point. Yeah. It's illegal to do some certain things on the internet, but if you have an open one,
if I were to do illegal things on the internet, like download a video game or download a movie, I would be stupid not to have an open access point. If Time Warner Cable was to say, or somebody was to try to arrest me and say, you have been downloading TV shows and movies, and I have an open access point, unless they seize the computer, they can't prove anything.
Yeah.
Well, actually, even if they seize the computer, they still can't have still don't have anything.
Yeah, because they can't prove that I put it on there.
Yeah, there's that there too. Yeah.
There's you know what we should be worrying about instead of people pirating stuff? Why don't these stupid Hollywood companies stop making their shit so expensive? Stop making your video
putting
games
DRM
$60.
on things, which makes it more difficult and actually makes it a much lesser of an enjoyable experience, then potentially people wouldn't pirate as much, because you can download a pirated movie that's got rid of all the adverts, got rid of all the MPAA and the the FBI warnings and all the trailers and all the other rubbish that you get on these damn things, and you can jump straight in and watch the movie, which is what you paid for.
Yeah.
Mike, what did you say?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Sorry,
I think that should be the focus, not, you should not be downloading stuff. How about your song isn't $1.99 on iTunes? You know, how about you make your song
Been the problem
99
with-
cents?
This has been the problem with the industry from day one because they dragged their feet and have not cooperated. And all they've done is they've picked an adversarial policy where they just everybody's a criminal. Everybody's a criminal until proven innocent. And they've never been on board with this. They've gotten in too late. They just don't understand the industry or the opportunities. So until they put themselves out of business or do something, someone comes along and says, "Hey, you know, we want to have a whole new way of doing business." They don't get it. They don't understand. There's too many middlemen involved. They don't want to eliminate the people in the middle that make money for each transaction. God forbid you go right to the artist and buy it directly from the artist. They hate that.
It's all about control at the end of the day. They want to have control of every aspect of it and then get paid for every aspect of it. And I'm sorry, but it's the 21st century now. It doesn't work like that anymore. You lost your boat, drown.
Steve, tell us how you really feel.
Oh, please don't get me started.
Yeah.
And I just know Amnon's going to come out with that new copyright thing that the UK is going to be bringing in soon. And I've been, well, it'll happen before the end of the show. I'm damn sure it will.
No, I don't have anything else.
You are kidding me.
Nope, I did not come across that. What is it?
The UK, up to now, it's actually illegal to rip a CD, to rip a movie, or to copy an ebook as a backup copy. It's illegal. In fact, it's still illegal in the United Kingdom to use a video recorder. That still hasn't changed. If you've still got a video cassette recorder, as far as the law is concerned, it's actually still illegal to record something off the television.
Wow.
Because this is one of the points I brought up with my case is, well, hang on a minute. What happens if I was to record all these on the video recorder? Well, technically, as far as the law is written, that is actually illegal still, but they ignore it. So they can ignore laws that they don't particularly want to have anything to do with, and then just go on with laws that they do want to do something with, which is just makes a whole mockery of the whole bloody system, excuse me.
Nope.
But anyway, what I was going to say is the UK are changing the copyright laws to actually make it so that it will no longer be. It's only in the first readings at the moment, so it may not come in, but I think it probably will. That you'll be able to rip a CD, you'll be able to rip a DVD or an ebook, so that you can put it on a different device or make a backup copy, as long as you have the original and it's a purchase you made, and as long as you don't give that copy to somebody else. But basically, format shifting will be made legal once it's gone through both houses. So just as CDs are about to become extinct, they now bring it in that it's legal to do it. Daft, isn't it?
Interesting.
I felt sure you'd have had that and gone, oh, I got a good one that'll wind Steve up. It's been on most of the news services, on Wired and Ars Technica, Tech Dirt. Most of them had some comment about it.
Spence, you started saying something?
Well, no, I was just talking about how in our own country, in our own government, we have selective enforcement of laws. As it suits them, they'll enforce a law and ignore other ones. When they take an oath of office to say that they will protect the Constitution and defend it, they don't do it. Well, we don't have anybody with the gumption here to challenge it and actually start to impeach people.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I think it's not a new thing. It's just that it's so much more blatantly obvious now than it's been for a long time. Outright contempt for following the rule of law.
So what else is going on?
I'm almost done with the specials. I'll have the specials in about 5 minutes. almost.
I think that's one of the main reasons my case fell flat like it did, was because I was bringing up way too many questions and looking at things from way too many aspects that other people would think, oh, I never thought of looking at it like that. That they've just felt it would be too much of a risk to take it any further, because I was just asking all the right questions and querying things that probably nobody else was, but then my head was right into it at the time.
On a different topic, I have a question. We've talked here before about the Time Warner bill that was passed in North Carolina that precludes municipalities from competing with private businesses. That is, that the town of the city of Raleigh, the town of Cary, is now legally prohibited from participating financially in providing services that companies like, say, Time Warner provide. In other words, it's the Time Warner bill. But so here's my question. Amnon, you are aware of a facility here in town we have called the Coca Booth Amphitheater.
Right.
And it is owned and operated by the town of Cary.
Correct.
They have a lot of entertainment events, shows, things out there. I'm trying to understand how that's not a municipality competing with private enterprise like RBC, like the DPAC over in Durham. Where's the difference?
It's got nothing to do with Time Warner Telecom. I mean, Time Warner Cable.
No, it's a serious question.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the truth is, I don't know. Has it always been a Cary-owned thing, or
yes,
even when it was built? I mean, what is that place there? Where is it located?
Regency Park.
Regency Park. Is that a city-owned thing?
No, only the property on which this facility is located.
Yeah, I don't see any difference.
I don't see any difference either. I kind of had a rundown with these guys this week because I had it was Friday. Doing some investigating into the operation of this facility because they've got a big show coming up over there. Forget who the artist is, some artist. Anyways, my daughter wanted tickets. She was in class at school, so she asked me to log in and get them. The tickets went on sale at 10 o'clock. At 10:04, they were completely sold out, and the only thing left was lawn seats. Now, I'm not going to get into the entire argument, but I'm sorry. This is being operated as a commercial entity.
Yeah.
They have a duty not to have artists that are going to sell out that quickly. They should be at bigger facilities so that people can get in. I went online, Ticket Stub, and all these places have these tickets that she wanted to get for $200 a piece, the scalpers, which unfortunately is now legal in our state. It is legal to buy tickets and scalp them and sell them.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Our politicians who are gravely concerned about the welfare of the citizens of this state made it legal to scalp tickets.
Well, you don't like ticket scalping?
I don't like ticket scalping.
So why are you not okay with ticket scalping, but would you be okay with somebody buying something and then reselling it at a higher price?
Normally I would, but here's the rub. If DPAC wants to do that, if the local RBC Center, if they want to allow it, that's fine. But this facility is a municipally owned facility. I pay taxes to that municipality. If this entity loses money, the budget deficit is made up out of taxpayer funds. I have absolute standing to question the operation of the facility by their own admission.
So why don't you?
Well, I'm not always a troublemaker, and I do sometimes try to pick my battles. I just want to make sure I understand what's going on here. And what I'm saying is that I actually had a discussion with someone involved in the operation of the facility where I said that I did not think that, based on what I observed, and I don't regularly go to shows, but what I observed, I did not think that this facility was being operated for the benefit of the citizens of the town of Cary. His comment was, well, we definitely have a duty to the fans of the facility. I said, no, you don't. You don't have a duty to the fans of the facility. You have a duty to the citizens, taxpayers of our town, because we are the ones who pay your salary. You don't owe anything to people in Minnesota who are fans who want to log in and buy tickets and put them on eBay. You don't owe them a darn thing. Oh, well, these performers and artists, they demand a certain number of tickets to be held for the fan club. Fine, that's fine. And if you are a commercial entity like RBC Center or DPAC, you can capitulate to any demand they have. But as a community-operated facility, it seems to me that you have a duty to say, okay, but no more than 10% of the seats. We have a duty to our citizens to be able to provide entertainment for them at a reasonable cost because we're taking their money to operate the facility. Now, how is that misguided in any way?
You're misguided.
Right, and how?
They already got your money.
Yeah, but they took it at the end of a gun.
Right.
I didn't volunteer it.
Yep, but they already got it, so now they do whatever they want.
Have you spoken to anybody on your city council or anything about this?
Not yet. This is brand new.
Yeah.
I would, if you're
Absolutely.
passionate about that, I would go do something about it.
Well, I am going to pick my battles, but because I mean, anytime you fight government, you're probably going to lose. But you know what? I've been wondering. I'm not going to tip my hand here, but let's just say that there is a fellow who was successful at getting red light cameras removed from the community, and I'm wondering if maybe it's time to get this matter straightened out. If it had not been for this law making it illegal for municipalities to compete with private enterprises, I would have said that it is the way that it is. But now that there's precedent here, and now that our politicians have come to the rescue to save us from high-speed internet, then maybe we need to be consistent and save us from reasonably priced entertainment venues.
Well, Mike, as you might be aware, nobody needs more than about 10 megabits according to Time Warner's CPO.
10, 1 megabit.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I misspoke.
Got a zero in the wrong place.
Oh, as you know, Mike, I'm not very good at math.
Boy, that's the truth.
Oh.
Just trying to be agreeable.
What?
Just being agreeable.
He's just trying to help.
Just trying to help.
I can feel the hostility 4,000 miles away.
Wow.
No.
Makes
there's no-
sense.
there's-
All right, I'm leaving. Go ahead and do special.
the truth is there is no hostility there.
I want to
Mike
know if
hates
they
it.
have
No,
moose
no, I
crossing
know.
warning signs like they have deer crossing warning signs down here.
They do.
They do. Okay.
I actually have a picture of one that I took the last time I was here.
Yeah.
The very first picture I took the morning we arrived, I went for a walk and I went out and I saw a moose crossing sign.
Spencer, are you going to be doing any blogging
ready for
or
specials?
picture stuff during this trip?
Yeah, I did. I started a group on Facebook called the Moose Chronicles.
Could you
And
post a link to that in the
That's the
chat?
place I'm going to put pictures and commentary. What was that?
Could you post a link to that in the chat room?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just created an open group on Facebook. My nephews and was saying, "Oh, you got a blog. It's, look, I don't want to go to yet another service, so I'll just create a group. It's not quite the same, but it's an easy for me to do because I can do it from anywhere with my phone and just check in and things like that. The nice part about a group is you can log in as the group and then post. And then I opened it up so that it will anybody can join and make comments and so on. I'll do that after I'm done with the specials. Now I can't at this point in the morning. I can't multiplex yet.
You do it after the what?
Okay.
What
What's
did you say? You're going to do it after what?
Oh, I'll do it after I do the specials. I'll post the link. I can't multiplex yet.
Are you actually doing
normally just say,
specials?
oh, yeah, let me put the link. I have it. I'm ready.
Wow.
I know I can't commit that I'm going to do this every week
Yeah.
or be available every week because I may be working. My schedule is going to be 6 days a week, and my day off will change. So I don't know when I'll be available to do it, but I'll do it when I can.
So go for it.
Okay. Starting with Office Max, they've got a 15.6-inch Toshiba E1 laptop. Now, this has become an interesting thing. Every week, these places have these machines, these entry-level machines. $279, save $100. This is the machine that I just bought from my aunt and uncle, who are in their 80s, who were concerned about having a Windows XP machine, and it was getting old in the tooth and not supported anymore. So they were just looked in the store, and Windows 8 scared them off. So I bought this machine for them, and I put Classic Shell on it, and I shipped it down to them, and they're very happy with it. Works great. At $279, you use it for 2 years and you toss it. So you can't beat this kind of a deal. Mm-hmm. Wireless Brother Mono Laser with Duplex, $149, save $10. HP OfficeJet 6100 ePrinter, $69.99, save $30. Canon D530 laser printer scanner copier with Duplex. This is a good deal, $89, save $110. USB flash drive, 32 gig for $19.95, 64 gig for $39.95. They've got gigabit switches on sale, D-Link 5-port for $29.99. An 8-port for $39.99. They've got an Acer 24-inch LED monitor for $149.99, save $30. They've got a Logitech, MK520 wireless keyboard and mouse. This is their high-end desktop mouse keyboard combo, $39.99, save $20. HP 10.1-inch AMD A4 touchscreen laptop, $269.99. And the entry-level prices for these have just come down. So it's only $30 off the regular price. Dell B1160W wireless laser printer, $59, save $60. I mean, that's cheap enough that you can buy it and throw it away when the cartridges run out.
Yeah.
Wireless Brother, sorry, go ahead.
No.
Oh, Wireless Brother MFC-J 4510DW printer scanner fax copier inkjet with Duplex, and does 11 by 17 printing. This is considered to be a business device. $129.99, save $50. And that's all at Office Max. At Staples, we've got a 16 gig 7-inch Google Nexus 7 tablet for $189.99, save $40. We've got a 15.6-inch AMD A6. This is an HP machine, $379.99, save $180. They've got a 15.6-inch Dell i3 touchscreen for $399, save $200. They have a Logitech lighted keyboard, $59.99, save $20. You've got a Brother HL 2770DW wireless laser with Duplex for $99, save $50. You've got a 20-inch HP LED monitor for $89.99. That's $30 off. An Acer 23-inch LED monitor for $129.99, save $40. You have Logitech C920 webcam, $69.99. That's $30 off regular price. And Western Digital MyBook, 2 terabyte for $99, save $10. 3 terabyte for $119.99, save $10. That's all at Staples. Got a couple of interesting things at Best Buy. They've got a 17.3-inch HP A8 laptop for $399.99. They have a Targus chill pad for your laptop, $19.99, save $10. Now, this is an interesting device. This is advertised as a portable touchscreen, all-in-one. Dell XPS i3 18.4-inch portable touchscreen, all-in-one for $899.99, save $100. And you look at the pictures in the description, it is a giant tablet that people move around. They show them in the kitchen with it, looking at recipes. They show them sitting on the couch with this thing on their lap. Consider an 18.4-inch tablet got an APC 600 VA battery backup, $54.99. That's 20 off. That's all at Best Buy. And at Office Depot, that HP 10.1-inch A4 touchscreen laptop for $279.99, save 20. They've got 16 gig USB flash drive for $9.99, and they have 8 gig for $6.99. Brother MFC J470 DW. This is their entry-level wireless printer scanner fax copier inkjet with duplex for $69.99, save $30. Toshiba 3 terabyte USB hard drive for $109.99, save 10. And they have a Toshiba 256 gig solid state drive for $179.99, save 10. And that's at Office Depot. And that is it.
And I mean, you got this off the web, or you had to.
Well, that's off the web. You go and they typically have the weekly ads up in a weekly ad format that you can just page through.
Yeah.
That's all I can say is that's awesome to do that remotely. Well done, mate.
Absolutely.
Oh, no problem.
Nice, Spence. Thank you very much. All the way from Alaska, specials. And how much is moose?
Frozen specials. You have to defrost them first.
$5.50 a pound, wasn't it? Or was it a kilogram?
No, that's a pound.
Oh yeah, because you don't do real money over there, do you?
Go and find out. I have to figure out where game meat is available and what the price is, and I'll get back and find out what it really costs. Let me tell you, this is an interesting place where you can go into a grocery store and buy a handgun.
That's awesome.
Give me a pound. Give me a pound of moose, 2 loaves of bread, and Walther.
And seriously, though, the
case
grocery
of 9mm
stores here, well, there is a Walmart, Super Walmart, that of course, has shopping, and they have stores like what was the other one, Safeway and things like that. But there's a store called Fred Meyer. That is the parent company for Kroger, and we're Kroger shoppers at home, so I use my frequent shopper number there. But it is like the size or bigger than a Super Walmart. They sell clothes, they sell furniture. From a food perspective, there's nothing I can't get here. The last time I was here, they didn't have these mega stores. What's that?
Marijuana?
Oh, I'm sure.
So if you wanted to, you could pop into the grocery store and buy all that, including a gun, stick it in the boot of your or trunk of your car, and you could just drive back home again if you wanted to.
Well, I considered. Now, I don't know what the marijuana laws are in Alaska. I don't think there is.
I was teasing.
I don't think they have a law. Yeah, but who knows?
But I do want to know how much your gas prices are.
It's I've seen it. 367 is the cheapest unleaded.
That's
high.
So it is a little.
What do you mean that's high? It's 340 some now.
Right, but Alaska's where they get all the oil. They ought to be cheaper out there.
Yeah, but they don't get it
I don't know
refined.
If they have refineries here.
Yeah, they don't refine it there.
Now, do they have the same kind of gas stations at this Fred Meyer's thing like they do here at Kroger's? Like I got filled up and I got 40 cents off per gallon because of our grocery shopping at Kroger's. Do they have that same thing there?
Yes, they do. Where you can get points to get discounts. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited by the fact that there's a Fred Meyer's like 3 blocks from where my apartment's going to be. Mm-hmm. It's a great store. I mean, it's just I went in and stocked up on lean cuisine, frozen dinners, because I'm just trying to save money in the hotel here. I got a really good deal on a hotel, but until my apartment is ready. But it's got a microwave and a refrigerator, and I've been buying frozen food and eating here, and you get the same. It's almost the same prices as home. Now things are a little bit more expensive, like Subway. You go in to buy a Subway foot long with. Make it a special with lunch, with drink and chips. is going to cost you $9. So it's a little bit more.
But they still had the $5 sub special?
No, not here. Not that I saw.
No $5 footlongs like the Cold Cut Trio and all that?
No, they might have it, but it might be a little more.
Yeah.
Oh.
But to be honest, I didn't look.
Mm-hmm.
How would that commercial go? Like $5 36 cent footlongs.
Yeah, I never get the
Yeah.
drinks and the chip option, or sucker into the they have those chocolate chip cookies up there right by the checkout. I just get a $5 footlong, and then I take it back to my motel, and I buy when I fly and I go to Walgreens, I buy a gallon of distilled water, and it's got a fridge in it, but I usually get some unsalted dry roasted nuts, maybe a can of cashews for snacks.
So when are you starting to actually do stuff? I mean, working for the company, working for the man.
Tomorrow.
Oh,
Tomorrow. Training starts tomorrow. So I had the first few days we were here were for getting your permit, getting your license transferred over, getting your drug test, and any other administrative stuff you had to go through to be prepared for Monday morning. We're expected to be there with our CDL learner's permit. Had to take 5 written tests. There were three for the CDL. The CDL general knowledge, passenger, and air brakes.
mm-hmm.
And then I had to take two regular motorist, regular driver's license test, written test, and the motorcycle endorsement test. And let me tell you, it's so funny that the motorcycle and the regular automobile tests, I didn't even study for, and I passed first time. I had been studying for days doing practice tests for the CDL general knowledge, and I didn't pass it the first time I took it. And I think my brain was just, I don't know where I was, because it was the day after I got here, and I was still pretty jet lagged. And I couldn't believe I didn't pass it, but I think I just wasn't thinking straight. So I came in the next day and I took it, and I almost aced it. I think I got 2 wrong out of 50. So, I wasn't on my best.
You were pushing
best
yourself.
performance level there. Probably, yeah. Probably was.
You're not there by yourself, are you?
I am now. My wife is coming up in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So she's finishing out her job, and her training didn't start till the middle of April.
Okay.
So
Almost sounds like you're working for the Dharma Initiative.
yeah. Yes, I have to watch all those films.
It's interesting.
Like
I followed with
one-armed
great interest when I was on my vacation a few weeks ago. I just kind of took a diversion and went into this whole area of vagabonding and stealth camping and people who full time in their RVs and stuff like that and make a living doing online stuff. And it was quite interesting the way some of them will take they'll take a little stint working at a campground as a campground host, but some of them will work. There's different shifts that you can get working at the big Amazon fulfillment center. I think it's somewhere in Kansas, and they can get a 2-month job or a 4-month job or a 6-month job, and then they'll make money, and then they'll continue on their travels at different places. But it was quite interesting.
One of the benefits that you get from doing this job, and I say benefit, I don't mean from a traditional sense, but that they want you to know and understand everything about the area. So if you are involved with customer-facing job, and both of us will be, my wife is going to be a guest services host, which is like a concierge in a hotel for the tour packages and all that, and I'm going to be doing tours and transporting people around. you have to be familiar with all of the attractions in the area and all the excursions that they have. So part of the training is to go on all these trips. So one of them is to actually, I don't know if I'll be doing this one. I hope we are, is flying up to the Arctic Circle. And you can drive up, you cannot drive on the Dawson Highway, which is the ice road trucker road. You can't drive on that unless you have a vehicle with at least two spare tires, and you have to have a radio and a bunch of other safety equipment before you're allowed to drive up there. But they do have companies that will drive you up to or fly you up to the Arctic Circle. And they have different kinds of trips with different packages, but I hope that I can take advantage of that. One way or another, I'm going to get there, even if I have to pay for it myself.
Now, is this something you're considering doing again? And would you have preferential treatment as having worked a season like you're fixing to do?
Yes, actually, the first year you get to cruise with the cruise line for half price as a benefit, and then if you do it a second year in a row, then you get a free cruise, as well as other travel benefits. But yeah, we'll consider it again. It all depends on it just happened that from a financial perspective that the stars lined up this year with me taking the package and leaving. And amazingly, my wife Pam went in to resign from her bank job. And 2 days later, her boss comes in and says, "You're not leaving." And she says, "No, you don't understand. My husband's going to Alaska. I'm going to go with him." She goes, "No, your job is here when you come back." So they actually created a leave of absence for her when one really didn't exist where she worked.
Wow! So
that's amazing. So I don't know what we'll do again. I'd like to think that this is breaking into this, that I'd be able to do things like work for another tour company once I have some experience. There is a company that does bus trips called Caravan that we've gone on one trip already that was out to Yellowstone and out in South Dakota, that hires independent contractors as tour guides. And you can work a couple weeks in a row and then take a couple weeks off and then come back and work a few more weeks. So that might be something that I could do by myself. And so if Pam wants to keep her job. But yeah, this is a very interesting world. I've already met a couple of couples who are doing the same thing we're doing, who are, most of them are a little older. I mean, I think we're doing it a little younger than the most pre-retirees do it. But
yeah, I was thinking this would be a great thing if you were semi-retired or in early retirement, give you the opportunity to travel, have some great experiences, and still, supplement your retirement income.
Well, for now, we're doing it. Hopefully to break even, because I can't pull from my retirement yet.
Bruce, you're frozen.
Oh, really?
Not here.
Really?
Let it go. Let it go. You want me to start? Am I frozen? Really?
Over here.
Start it and stop it. I don't see you as frozen.
It might come back.
I'll start it and stop it.
Spence, you're going to go visit Sarah's kitchen?
Yeah, it's far away.
Oh.
That's down in Wasilla. That's pretty far. I'm in the middle, I'm in the very, almost a geographic center, I guess, of the big land mass of Alaska.
It's fine now, Bruce.
They're in the big. So it's, I hope to get down that way while we're here.
Well, next year you're going to be doing 18-wheelers on ice roads.
No.
No?
No, I don't think I want to do that. Well, we'll see.
Right.
I mean, I'm doing this. I'm open, keeping open to, getting, they do apparently have some people who wash out. Like there's a bonus if you finish your training, there's a bonus. If you finish the year, there's a bonus. Because I guess a lot of young people who have to go back to school can't stay till the end of September. So one way or the other, I'm staying. I mean, unless something very dramatic happens that I can't, I'm going to finish the year out here. I've got a 6-month lease on an apartment. I bought a car. I expect to stay. So any advice, Bruce, on the Saturn?
No, I mean, I tell you, I mean, I have a Saturn right now, a 2004 Saturn Ion, and my wife is the one that had the 2001 Saturn model that you talked about there, and they were trouble-free for us. All I did was change the oil. One thing I liked about it, this happened about a month and a half ago. I was coming home from church, and I was getting into the right turn lane to get out on the highway. And I got into the right turn lane, and somebody who was in the go straight lane decided, I need to go on the highway. So they came over into the turn lane, and when they did, he sideswiped me. Now, we were only doing maybe 10 or 15 miles an hour, but there was damage on his Nissan Altima. But on my Saturn, there was nothing. I mean, hardly even a scratch. I like the material they make the body out of there. And so we got out, we pulled over. I looked at my car, I looked at his car, and I said, listen, I'm looking at my car as far as I'm concerned. There's no damage on my car. He knew it was his fault. He didn't see me over there, came over into me. And so saved him the hassle of having to, call the police and filing an accident report and him getting ticketed and everything else like that. I don't know what his insurance situation was, but the Saturn served me well. So, Saturn's got a great safety record for people that have been in some major accidents. So we've had nothing but good experiences. I did, interestingly enough, in fact, I should bring this out because I was about to throw it away. They don't make Saturns anymore, but I got this this important safety recall for my Saturn Ion in the mail, and it has to do with it says there is a risk under certain conditions that your ignition switch may move out of the run position, resulting in partial loss of electrical power and turning off the engine. So they suggest until the parts, and they don't have the parts yet for this, that you remove everything, including the key fob, anything that would weight down your keys in the ignition until the repairs have been informed. So they'll let me know when the parts are available, and one of the local GM dealers here will take care of that. But other than that, I've had a really great service for my Saturn.
Yeah, they did. They had...
Yeah, that's one thing.
Go ahead, Spence.
I was going to say that's the one thing that impressed me at first was that the car looked so good for a car that was all these years old. And cleaned up really well, especially for up here, because cars is very rough on cars in the wintertime. Mm-hmm. And you're right about the body. The only thing that I saw about the body, the little badge on the back on the trunk, the little Saturn logo was missing. So now I'm on eBay looking at it. It's $7. I can replace it. Mm-hmm. But I was looking for a car that I could easily sell in the fall. So when it was time to go, so it was very clean, and I looked underneath. You could see that it's a little wet underneath from oil, but that's with the car with 110,000 miles on it. I'm not going to go to the trouble of buying tools here and trying to fix it. I'm just going to keep it going, keep it clean, and at the end of the season, hopefully I can sell it for. Even if I sell it for a slight loss, I'll be ahead with what it would cost me to rent.
Or you can just store it somewhere for next year.
Yeah. Drive it home.
Put it off the side of the road and then bury it in snow and then come back and dig it out next year.
Bury it.
Just put a little red flag, little stick with a red flag on top of it so I can find it.
Yeah, but a 17-foot long pole, you'll be fine.
I'm not driving it yet. I actually have it in the parking lot here at the hotel because I don't have insurance on it yet. Because I am part of a group program with my insurance company through the credit union. They don't have 24/7 staff to write a new policy. So I have to wait till tomorrow morning to get the quote. But
that financial responsibility thing is just so old-fashioned.
I didn't have to show any proof of insurance, or they didn't give me anything to say I required insurance up here. So I was expecting to say, what's your insurance company or whatever. Nothing.
On a completely different topic, before we get away, I've been using an Amazon's Reward Visa card, and now that I'm not as big a fan as Amazon as I used to be, I'm thinking about getting one possibly from one of the airlines. I looked at the one for Southwest, and their offering doesn't seem to be very good. I'm wondering if maybe they offer sweetheart deals other than from the website, or if there's a way to find a pretty good travel rewards card. What are you guys using?
I use American Advantage, and it's cost, I think, about $60 a year.
Yeah, but they waive
all my purchases. What?
They waive it. I mean,
yeah, that's true. They do.
Yeah, the American Express, but they waive the.
Well, I don't have American Express.
Is yours an American Express with American?
No, it's American. It's a MasterCard with American.
Right.
Mine is American Express.
Yeah.
What are you using, Bruce?
I use that.
Bank of America. I have a Visa card that has rewards on that. Since I purchase, plane tickets and get reimbursed, it's a good way of leveraging some of that.
Yeah, racking up miles.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this April is
my rent by.
Yeah, my granddaughter has her
PayPal.
spring break in April, and so every April we do a road trip. So instead of flying, I rent a car and we do a road trip. And I've rented a Mustang convertible for this trip. So we're looking forward to making the drive to Florida. We'll head out on April, I think, the 12th, I believe, something like that. And so be a lot of fun.
Go ahead.
Which way do you travel through North Carolina?
I take the. I used to go, 29 down to Greensboro and then over into Charlotte and then down 77 to 26 in Columbia and then over. But now I do a different route that Google has that brings me through. I come out on I-95 further north on South Carolina than where 26 intersects. I can't remember the exact route, but it works pretty good. I'll tell you, last year was horrible coming back. I don't know if it's spring break traffic or whatever, but I decided to return doing the 26 to 77 up north to Charlotte route. And, the traffic on Interstate 26 was just horrid that trip. So I'm going to stay on the other trip. You do have to drive through some country 2-lane roads in part of North Carolina to get there. But I take 29 down to Greensboro, and then I do go a little ways on 85 till I pick up this left turn. I can't remember what the name of the highway is right now.
Is your business going to take you to Alaska this year, Bruce?
No. No. It might take me to California. I've never been to California before, but there's a big conference convention out there that we do their East Coast branch in Atlanta. We've talked about doing the one in California this year.
Well, it's time.
Made it all the way through the show without some moron posting a stupid comment on my Facebook article this morning. That's a record.
See? Either that or you just trained yourself not to pay attention to these.
Either that or Facebook's not updating.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Anyway, All right. Anything else anybody wants to add? Like the one more thing.
Well, we get flagged for it, so I can't play it. But Nelly Furtado does have a song, All Good Things Come to an End, but we can't play it. We get flagged.
No, we can't. All right. Well, Spence, thanks for calling in.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks for waking up so early. I guess
I'm going
you
to go down
had.
and have some breakfast here.
Did you?
I'm still trying to keep myself. I'm trying to keep myself from getting too. I've adjusted to the time already, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep myself waking up early for here
All right.
anyway.
Steve, thanks.
Thank you. Spence, just make sure you don't stay still for too long.
And freeze.
Yeah. Just keep moving. That's the thing to do.
All right, everybody. Nick,
All right.
Mike,
Take care. Bye.
Bruce, thank you. And good morning. Oh, and by the way, Nick, you want to talk about RFR?
No,
Why?
because I'm not sure if I'm going to do it next week. So
Okay, but you're going to do your show next week.
as long as I'm feeling all right.
Yeah. Thursday, 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. on radargaming.net. All right. Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the Health In Show, 1 p.m. for Breaking Free, and 7 p.m. for the Tanya Love Show. See you, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, and if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. That VidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.